Okay, active. Find it funny in Spanish you say activos, but I didn't mean to say it like that. Right now, it was just, it's active, ironically. It was like on preview up here. I didn't even know you could preview on your phone, but I guess it was just connecting. And we're here, as I promised. I even got my water, sake. So we're here, and we are ready. Buenas noches. It would be buenas. I'm going to write it in the chat. Let me prepare it over here. Buenas. Buenas noches. More specifically, so buenas noches. Although in theory, I think most people would say right now, it's still buenas tardes. Buenas tardes. Because normally with buenas noches, it's like when it's actually dark outside and it's not actually completely dark yet. So we're still kind of in afternoon mode. I would say at around 7 in about an hour, it's gonna get dark. So yeah, for now, we're still afternoon mode. Tardes. So we are here today and we're going to talk about this whole Muerte Cruzada situation. And actually, I saw a comment from someone in, I don't know if anyone here is in Don Shader's Discord, but there was a little bit of a conversation. It was very short compared to what normally you would see, but I made a few comments, and the name, the translation, like I wouldn't say translation, because if you translate it directly, it's like Muerte Cruzada feels more like cross death, but it's not cross death. It's better to say it like mutual death. And the way I see it, it's kind of, I guess, more ideal, because what the president did basically was he sacrificed everyone and himself. That's why there's a funny meme that I saw. It's a meme of Futurama. I don't know if anyone has watched it, but basically it's this one, and you see Lasso like being sucked into the hole, and he's like, "With my last breath, I declare muerte cruzada." So basically, it's like, you know, before you can impeach me, I declare this, and there's a really mixed conversation, and I'm hoping that by the end of this, everyone can. Well, I'm assuming that most people already have their own opinion about this situation, because this just happened, and a lot of people they're either extremely on one side or extremely on the other. I tend to be in the middle ground because I try to listen to everything before I can actually say something about the situation. So I've had to like absorb all the information about this whole situation today as quickly as possible, and it's just been a mess. Right when I was looking for coverage of it in English to show my friends, you go live. What's going on, 954? Glad that I can be of use. Honestly, here we're going to try to cover as much as we can, get as many doubts resolved as possible, even though I don't think we're going to be able to like completely, like if you're not living here, it's going to be very hard to get a complete understanding of what this entails, because we're going to see the effects of this starting probably tomorrow. Like today is just everyone, oh, this is the news. Tomorrow it's going to start, like things are going to start happening. And we actually got pretty lucky, and I will say we have good news today. And I think I saved it over here as well. Yes. So there was a tweet by La Hora Ecuador. So basically the director of the CONAIE, Leonidas Isa, they already stated that there is going to be no paro. And I think for the Ecuadorian, like, you know, in general, the Ecuadorian population, everyone was concerned that because of this situation, the political instability and the fact that the CONAIE was actually getting together, there was the concern that there was going to be another paro. For everyone who doesn't know about the paro, for anyone here, paro, I'm going to write it in the chat. The paro is the strike, and the last one that we had was bad. It was, I mean, no one can view a strike as a good thing, even if the purpose is to get good things to happen. Because in the process of the strike happening, a lot of things are shut down, work becomes more unstable, there's a lot of destruction and a lot of chaos in the place where it's happening. Like, for example, the last paro, the last strike that happened, there was a big mess in Quito. I actually had the chance to talk to my cousin in Quito about it when I visited. And she even told me that when the paro happened over there, since she was in Quito, it was hard for her to get to work. And she even had to go with her dad, because her dad is a lot older, my uncle. And they had to go like to the hospital, and they had to get around. And he's like 90, so the only reason, like, if it weren't for him, if it weren't for her being with him, they probably wouldn't have let her get around the city. So it was a mess. It was kind of not kind of, it was chaotic. And it really shows, like when people get together and try to do something to make a change, like, people will do things. The problem is when what they do goes against the way that, like, the way people are trying to fix things. Like, the best way to explain this is what I wanted to talk about, something that I talked to my dad earlier, and the way that this is affecting us. Because today what I will mainly be able to tell you is how this is affecting us at the moment, and how it's been affecting us in the process leading up to this situation. Because this is not just, today was the impeachment. The whole situation with the impeachment started from the 9th, where they wanted to impeach Lasso. And now we're here on the 17th, where there was going to be the impeachment, and now there's Muerte Cruzada. Now there's this whole mutual death. So it's a lot of things, and we're going to talk about that here today. Yeah, paros go crazy. The shutdowns we had in 2019 were wild, for sure. For real, they tore up Quito. It was terrible. And it's so weird because a lot of people didn't see that happen, apparently. I don't know if no one was visiting Quito at that time, but I don't see a lot of talk about that situation when it comes to Quito, which I'm kind of happy for, because I don't want anyone to think Quito is, like, horribly dangerous. There are a lot of things that currently make Quito dangerous, but Quito's a great city. I was just there a few weeks ago. So Quito's great. And I'm kind of frustrated because I was in the process of editing a video, the video where I talk about what I learned in Quito. And I have it edited so that it's not super long. And I just need to add in my personal style of edits to make it more interesting and more enjoyable. But in general, like, one of the first things I can say right now to everyone here, and I think I mentioned it before, is Quito was great. It was really nice. It felt, for the time I was there, the short amount of time I was there, it felt safe. But a lot of people say the same thing about Guayaquil. A lot of people say the same thing about Puerto Viejo. A lot of people say the same thing about Manta. When you're only there for a short amount of time, any city feels safe, especially if you know what you're doing. But there are bad things. But I don't want that to be like the deterring factor, like, no, this city is horrible. No, Quito was great. They messed up Centro Histórico bad, taking bricks out the street. Yeah, they did a lot of things to Quito, but it was all in show of protest. And this kind of reminds me of, like, what happened in the States. Like, how does, like when there were these protests in the States, I remember because of, I don't remember the reason, but there were protests and they were destroying things. And it goes to show the level that people will take things to, like, to try to get attention. And there's the two sides, where one side believes it's good because if you don't do it, you don't get attention and no one cares. But there's the side that's bad, where it's like, why don't we just talk it out? I'm always on the side of talking it out, but I do realize that when you try to talk things out, not everyone listens. And that makes it unfortunate because the ideal solution isn't the one that works. If you notice what happens on social media, if you notice what happens on YouTube, what gets the most attention? It's always the radical acts. It's always the big things that people really care about. When it's smaller things, people care less. It shouldn't be that way because every problem has its level of importance. And if it's a big problem and you're trying to resolve it peacefully, then of course you should pay attention to it. But if in order for a big problem to actually be taken as a big problem, you have to cause chaos, then there's a really big problem from there. But anyways, watching your fair, well-balanced perspective from Prince Edward Island, Canada. Hello, Robert Ashley, how's it going? The Dead Cross appears to be a critical, if unpleasant, tool to help preserve democracy. That's part of the argument that I've read through all the investigations I've been doing leading up to this live stream, because I saw that there was a majority vote for everyone wanting to see the live stream. So to talk about it, I assume everyone wants to know what this means for Ecuador in general. And like I said, I will tell you what it means for me and my family. I will tell you what it means for everyone I know. And as far as I've talked to, I guess, even for people in Quito, because I have talked to my cousin a little bit, even though so far there's, like I said, today you're not going to see the majority effects. We're going to see what happens, I assume, starting tomorrow. The best news that we had today was the fact that the paro was avoided. There's no paro. There's no strike that's going to happen, at least if we take the word of the leader of the CONAIE. And there's a little bit of an argument that the only reason why there's no strike from the CONAIE is because they're scared, because there's a military right now. And if the military intervenes, then yeah, they're gonna get, supposedly the comments say they're gonna get blown up, yeah, they're gonna get attacked, and it's not the same as last time where they had no opposition and they did whatever they wanted and caused chaos all around Quito, and that chaos spread throughout the country. It almost reached over here in the sense that things could have gotten worse. There was crime escalated and stuff like that, but it never got to the level where it was Quito. Like, they would shut down your store if you tried to open, and they would just rob you in like plain sight because no one could do anything about it. You couldn't go out of your house because you were very scared. So Quito had the worst situation, but other places had lack of access to hospitals. Other places had problems where you couldn't get from one place to another because streets were blocked. So it was really chaotic. And this is a developing situation. We're going to see how it progresses, but we're going to talk about it today in hopefully the most basic form, because what I tried to absorb from all the information was the best way to explain it so that it would make sense and it wouldn't be stressful. So going a little bit into what I saw in what I read, what I investigated, and by the way, hello to everyone who is here today. I look over here because this is where I see the chat, but this is the camera, so hello everyone. I hope you're doing well. And I hate to hit you with this bad news, and I hate to come out with a live stream when I promised I would tell you when there's going to be live streams, but this is just such a critical event, like I don't know how else to call it, but it just came out of nowhere, and we needed to talk about it. So there's a bit of an argument as to how correct what happened with this situation. It's like, is the Muerte Cruzada a good thing? And the argument online, at least the argument between people who live here, if you go on Reddit, you'll see a lot of it, but you see it even in the comments that people are already leaving on WhatsApp and social media. I already talked to my dad about it. And there's a divide where there's people who think it's a bad thing. Bad mainly because the president was about to be impeached. And I don't think it's so much bad that they see it, but the fact that the president did something like to save his butt, if you want to look at it like that. So the president about to be impeached decided to enact Muerte Cruzada, this whole situation, which basically gives him another 6 months of power as president to, I guess, try to resolve whatever he has to do. the argument, the general, I guess you could say, argument would be it's supposed to be 3 to 6 months, but that's still a decent amount of time. And during that time, they're going to start organizing to have another election in order to choose another president. So this is where the positive side comes in, because now the country, the people, they get to choose, do you want to keep going on with the president that you have now, based on everything you've seen? Like, is the situation, do you agree with the president, or do you want to get him out and bring in someone else in order to see if this new person will do something better? So the negative seems more to be on the side of, if we go back a little bit even further, actually, the fact that the impeachment of the president, the whole case that he had, from the beginning, it wasn't even legal. Like, you weren't supposed to be able to do what they did, because there were legal ramifications against it. Either way, the Congress, the assemblymen, they did it anyways. So they took the president to court. They took him to try to impeach him. And the president, in the process of the situation, Guillermo Lasso, decided to call upon this Muerte Cruzada. He had actually been threatening, like, I can't say this is exactly what he said, but the way that I understand it is he kept threatening that if you guys do this, I'm going to do this. And he did it. So I guess you could say he is a person of his word. But this whole situation is dark if you go back to the roots of why he was being impeached in the first place. Apparently, his impeachment comes from the fact that he had embezzled some treaties, some deals with the oil companies. Like, they have these, I want to say tankers, these refiners, I guess. And apparently he set out he gave permission to give contracts to private companies. And I don't know if he gave permission. Apparently he didn't give permission for it. Apparently he didn't even know about it. That's what he says. But, you know, we can say a lot of things and they can be either true or false. But he said that. That's what he said. And apparently he didn't know what the situation was. And from what I understand, if the president would have put to work these, I don't know if it was the refineries or if it's the tankers, then the country would have more stable profits. But instead, he loaned them out to these private corporations, which in the end, it just didn't make sense. It felt like you could have done something positive, but that would help the country, but instead of doing that, he did something that was more beneficial, not for the country, but for, I guess you could say, either the private corporations or himself. Because whenever in the country, what you hear a lot is whenever there's a contract for some kind of, assume some kind of big project. You want to construct a highway. So you want the highway to be constructed, you have a contract for it. And obviously, the company that gets that contract is going to get money from the government. And that's a lot of money that they're getting. So everyone fights to be able to get that contract. And when I say fight, you know, hey, president, you know, the contract is $1 million. You take 200,000, we take 800,000, everyone's happy. So that's where, like, there's the corruption part to all of this. And this is where, you know, a lot of people complain because companies that deserve it, they don't get the job. The companies that have a way to, I guess you could say, pay, or they have the connections to be able to do these kinds of deals, they get the job. And it's not just for highways. It was a situation with the schools. It was a situation with the hospitals. This is why there's so much conflict with what happened with Correa, because apparently that's what he would do. In theory, that's what every president has ever done. Like, they would say that something is happening. They would say that it cost this much money, and then they would take a percentage of it for themselves, and obviously the company would take the rest. So that's the situation with that. And that's why the president was being, or is being, or well, was, because now with the Muerte Cruzada, in theory, he's not being impeached anymore. And that's why people are saying he just used this as a means to defend himself and not so much for the sake of the people. And then there's the side of the people who say, no, this gives the people a chance. But then there's the argument that the people are giving where everyone has kind of resigned themselves to their fate. And everyone, for the most part, agrees that it doesn't matter who goes into power next. It's going to be the same thing. The situation's not going to get better. It's just going to stay the same, or it's going to get worse. That's the conflicting argument between people right now. So there's the fact that people want to have the choice to change things, but there's also the fact that they're very aware that no matter who you put in power, like we had the choice between Lasso and Arauz before. And Arauz wanted to change the dollar into some other currency. I don't know if he was going to change it back to the sucre or he was going to create a new form of currency. But everyone knew that out of the two options, none of them were good. Lasso was bad, Arauz was bad. But which one is less bad? So they chose Lasso, and now everyone's complaining because he has not done things well. And I'm going to go into what's happening to us as people who live here. Because like I said, I can give you my perspective from where right now I'm sitting, but what's been happening to me. But that's obviously going to vary from person to person. And there's a lot of things to talk about with this. And it's also, one day I have a podcast episode I have to talk about big situation. But anyways, let me read here. Aren't large-scale projects not awarded by a competitive tendering process which follows published criteria and standards for eligibility? I would hope that they do, but from what everyone can see, even if they were, like let's assume that 100% things were done in the best way possible, the people would never believe it. The people would always think that even if the projects were actually taken by competent companies who won the position, who won the ability to do this project, the general consensus from the people is that it's not true. It was bought off. So that's the sad thing. When corruption is so high, where you've lost faith that anything that's done in the country is actually being done through a legal process, because now no one believes it's actually being done legally. And the way people see things, the fact that certain construction, certain things are done half-assed, people don't believe it. So it's like, even if you were to say the company that built the highway was the one that won a competition to be able to construct it, if the highway wasn't well done, then they were probably bought off. And they took, out of the $1 million, they took $500,000 and only used $200,000 to construct the road, and they used $100,000 to give to whoever gave them the contract. So there's a big level of mistrust between the government and the people. By the way, hello, Chance. I will read your comment in a second. We need Bukele. That's who we need. El Salvador's president has done the best for Latin American nations in generations. Goated for real. A lot of people are mixed on whether they really want someone like Bukele, because Bukele has done something that apparently no one else has been able to do here in Latin America, and that's put a heavy stop on crime. But the problem is I want to believe that people are scared. Like, no one is willing to go into the position of president and try to fix everything, because they're worried that if they try to fix everything, they're going to get eliminated. That's why I feel, in my personal opinion, that's why I feel no one throws themselves to do the same thing, because they're seeing that it works. I mean, I guess you could say it works. It's kind of unfortunate for those people, but at the same time, there's also the argument that, do those people deserve fairness? I don't know. Honestly, I'll let you be the judge of that. I just think that there should always be a solution that hurts the least amount of people. Even though, once again, it's hard to be sympathetic towards someone who's not sympathetic towards you. It's hard to give sympathy to someone or feel empathetic towards someone who will take your life at the drop of a hat. So I honestly don't want to get into that debate because my opinion probably isn't. It might be good, it might not be good. We're not all going to agree with the same thing, and I get that. But I'd rather not get into this fight about should we value these people's lives, should we not? How should we fix the situation? My opinion to always fix the situation is simply do what's best for the country, do what's best for the people. If you can fix something and it can help the majority of people, then do it. I just don't know what that is for every case. But anyways, Chance, it's well known the power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. Good luck. Good luck indeed. Are the indigenous upset by this, and why? Like I was saying a little bit earlier, by the way, hello, Cynthia. There's already been I guess, a reunion, a meeting of the indigenous people, the Conaye. And here I have the image. It's over here. And basically, the Conaye has decided not to do a protest. They're not happy about it. They want the legal process to continue with Lasso. Like, basically, they want him to be impeached. They want the process to continue. But a lot of people are talking about this, and how can you continue the legal process if you just kicked out all of Congress, if you just used Muerte Cruzada and you just got rid of everyone? I've already seen a lot of memes as well of people talking about, hey, turn in your portfolio because there's open seats now, and the work is from 11 to 2, and it pays $4,500. So, you know, people are just, they're already playing around with it. That's when you know it's serious, but at the same time, people are trying to find ways to make it funny. But yeah, the situation with indigenous peoples, they just want the process to keep going. They seem very, very, very much dedicated to getting Lasso out of power. And there's the confusion between whether the reason for that is that there's some gain to be had by them, and maybe they've got some connection to narcos, to, you know, drug lords, or to people, you know, corrupt people, or if it's really that they want something to improve. Hard to say. Do you think there will be ripple effect of this national political crisis down to the level of the provincial and local governments? Do I think? I think anything that affects the whole country will eventually reach the people. And this, I guess, would be a good time to pivot and talk about how it's affecting us, or how it has been affecting us. As many may know, and anyone who's been on my channel, I always talk about, you know, there is danger here. It's always good to know because you want to be prepared. And that's the reason why I talk about it. We have to live through it. Since I live here, my family lives here, and anyone else who I know who is an Ecuadorian friend of mine, we all live through it. No one is looking at this as a good thing. We're already getting worried about how crime, these past few months, crime has been bad. It's noticeable that throughout the country, because Quito has even been getting higher in crime with the whole situation about the vacuna. If I haven't talked about the vacuna, or if you don't remember from the last live stream, or maybe you weren't here, I'll talk about it in a bit. But there is that situation as well that's been plaguing Quito. But there's a lot of situations, a lot of things that have been happening in the country that we, my family and my friends, have been feeling for the longest. Daniel, by the way, thank you very much for the donation. I appreciate it. It really helps in these times because, like you're gonna hear, it hasn't been good. I never lived in Ecuador yet, but I have read online that Ecuador prospered more under Correa and Moreno. That's the argument. We'll talk about that later. I know there's people who don't like Correa, and I don't know if anyone here likes or doesn't like. Remember, we're here to talk about this in a friendly, open manner. So your opinion is valuable, and I love it. I appreciate it. But we'll talk about that in a second, because the situation with Correa is something I mention a lot, and something a lot of people mention because of how things went. But going into what's happening to us in the moment, me and my family and my friends, More my family, because my friends don't always tell me the situation 100% as it is. When you have problems, you don't necessarily go out and tell everyone about it, especially when it comes to economic problems, money problems. Because no matter how much I tell someone how bad I am, how bad I'm doing financially or economically, what can they do for me? I have to resolve that myself. I have to work more. I have to find another job. I have to do more things, because that's the only way you're going to fix a problem with money, especially when the government isn't doing what they're supposed to do and making it so that even if you earn not a lot, you're not paying out the butt to stay alive. But basically, the situation has been getting worse here, and we've talked about this before. Ever since the whole pandemic, as a lot of people know and experienced throughout the world, once the pandemic hit, everything got bad. If things were bad before, with inflation, with money, things just started escalating even worse with the pandemic. And I can't talk about every other country, so let's limit this to Ecuador. If you know what happened in your country with the pandemic, you can go ahead and leave it in the chat. But please don't say that the situation was worse or is worse somewhere else because of the pandemic, because I know that. I know some places have it worse. But I can't really talk about that now because I don't live in those places. I can't really give my opinion about that, because even if your situation, or even if the situation in the country was worse, I don't know exactly how much worse it can be when the situation I've been living through feels pretty bad as it is. So when the pandemic hit, a lot of people couldn't work, obviously. You had to stay indoors, you had to stay safe, and they wouldn't let you out on the streets to work anyways, because, no one wanted to get infected or spread COVID. So during that time, we took a big financial hit here in my house. My dad couldn't work. We started online classes about 3 months later. As a teacher, we started much later. I don't even remember if it was 3 months or more, but we started late. We started doing online classes. Online classes don't pay the same as in-person classes. Nothing online paid the same as in-person, from what I understood. I don't know if that's the situation in every country, but over here, for the most part, they made us sign contracts. They made us understand that we're not getting paid the same because they're not earning the same money. So yeah. So the pandemic basically made everyone take a big hit economically. Everyone started being unable to produce the same amount of money that they were producing before. And of course, when you're not making money, when you're not spending, when the economy starts to freeze, things will eventually get more expensive, because you need to spend. The way a functioning economy works, from what I understand, is that money has to move. If money stays still, everything starts to suffer. If a business relies, my dad's business, it relies on people going into the business to buy things. If no one's going out to spend money, no one's buying anything, then what happens to us? We're not making money. And at the end of the day, either we have to raise the price of the products, which is not convenient here at all. As soon as your product gets, especially food, as soon as it gets expensive, no one wants to buy it. And people would prefer to buy something somewhere else, cheaper, more, even if it's worse quality. It's just the way things work. I don't know if it's the same everywhere else, but it's just the way things are here. So we had this problem with, first of all, the pandemic. People not spending money, money not circulating, everything just kind of coming to a standstill. Then, in the process of how time passed, by the way, hello, Don Shader. I'll answer that question in a second, because I think it's a question. Yeah. And then, as the situation escalated, as time passed, obviously the pandemic ended. Some people still think there's like a slight pandemic, but no one cares anymore. If you wear a mask, it's more like in the university. It's more like if you really, really worry about it a lot more. But the pandemic passed, and then there was this whole situation with political instability. Here, the situation with the presidents hasn't been good. Like when there was the fight between Lenin Moreno and Correa, because Lenin was Correa's right-hand man, he became the president, and then afterwards he betrayed Correa. from what everyone understands, he betrayed Correa. And then afterwards, after Lenin, we have now Lasso, who's basically, he's killing the economy. Not him personally, but he basically, when he got into power, everything just started getting worse. But now, the problems weren't just political, they were in terms of safety. It became unsafe. Because as maybe you've seen on the news, maybe you've heard from my videos, maybe you've heard from what Don has said, maybe you've heard in general, there have been these situations with, first of all, the petty crime rising. That's always been a thing here, but it's been rising. Then there's the assassinations, which they call here los sicariatos, which is basically organized and targeted crime toward a specific person. And the problem with that is that they don't just aim at that person. Unfortunately, anyone in the crossfire takes the hit if they happen to be there. So you see a lot of things, not like the States, where obviously there's the mass shootings, but to the point where you can be at a restaurant, and this was something that my friends from Switzerland said that happened to someone else. You can be at a restaurant, and next door, sicariato, assassination attempt. The whole restaurant next door gets shot down, like they get shot up, and it happens, and people can die. So it's not just the person they're targeting, but everyone in the area. So crime has been increasing. Then the situation with la vacuna, the vaccine, la vacuna. And basically to be vaccinated means here in Ecuador, like with organized crime, it's another form of extortion. If you have a business, like my dad has his food business, and one day a criminal, some random person comes up and he tells my dad, nice business, you know, if you want to keep it running and keep it safe, you got to pay me $500 a month and we'll let you keep working and we'll make sure you're fine. So that's what's happening right now in terms of organized crime. And that's what a lot of people are suffering in various parts of the country. Because it's not just in Puerto Viejo. It's not just in Quito. It's not just, let's say, in Pastaza, because I saw a comment on Reddit, someone was saying that the situation has reached them over there as well. It's something that's happening all around the country. So just to answer this comment, because I just saw it, no, it hasn't happened to my dad as far as I know. But if that happens, we're going to have to leave the city. Because that's already happened to the uncle of my friend's girlfriend. He had an encebollado business, and he got vacunado. He got the vaccine. The people came, and they started, extortion. Hey, you got to pay us. If not, you can't keep working. He had to leave the city. He couldn't keep working because now, if he keeps working, he has to make enough to pay, the rent, to pay for his employees, to pay for the people around him. But he also has to earn enough to pay the $500 fine, the vaccine, to these people who are just bullying him pretty much. And that it wasn't worth it. So he has to leave, shut down his successful business because of some people who just want extra cash, lazy cash, because they're not working for it. They're just, hey, I'm threatening you, you gotta pay me. So yeah, that's the situation with crime. And then if we continue now with this situation with the political instability, with Lasso most likely leaving, now we have the problem. Oh, by the way, hi Mark. And also, hello Herman, or German. Que gane Alvarito. Alvarito always seems to be the solution. And hello, Gloria. But yeah, anyways, now there's the political instability. The fact that the president isn't in power. And this is where the situation affects me and my family. Because like I said, there's crime. Now there's political instability. There's the whole situation with the inflation. There's money that, like, people don't have money. So the little money that people have, people don't want to spend it. This is the conversation I had with my dad earlier. So who's going out on the street right now with how things are, you don't know if tomorrow there's gonna be riots, there's gonna be, if there isn't a strike, a paro from the CONAIE, what if it happens from the people who aren't happy about the situation? You never know what's going to happen. So people are afraid that if right now they spend money on things that they don't need, like going out to eat is not a necessity. You can eat at home. So if people go out to eat, if people waste money, they're afraid that the little money that they have is gonna be gone. And if things start to go up in price due to the instability, and this goes a little bit into the question that Don said, good evening, Ace. What impact do you think this will have on expats and our investments here? I'm not sure exactly how it's going to affect your investments at the moment, but my dad was talking about the situation of investments in general. The risk of investment in Ecuador, countries invest. They give money to Ecuador in order for Ecuador to be able to pay off their employees. You know, that's the government. That's the way things are apparently working here. And if the government isn't, let's just say, if the situation is unstable, if Ecuador is a place of risk, who's going to want to invest in Ecuador? So my dad said that the risk before, like the percentage, was at about, like the percentage for a loan from Ecuador taking money from a different country was at about, I think they had to pay off an interest rate of about, I want to say 9%. If it wasn't 9, it was 6 or 5. Now, that can raise, or it has raised, up to 15% because people don't trust leaving their money in Ecuador. If you leave your money in Ecuador, what's going to happen? What if tomorrow the president decides to leave? He can't guarantee that they're going to be able to pay it back. So there's a higher risk, so there's less people who want to invest in the country. That's the most basic way I can explain it, because my dad explained it with a lot better technical terms because he is an economist. But it's really bad. It's really bad because obviously if the country's not getting money, what's going to happen with people who have jobs with the government? How are they going to get paid? And things can only keep getting worse if there's no money coming into the country and if the situation just keeps escalating. So it's tough to say what's going to happen with investments here, but I can say that if the country's not getting money, if they're gonna it's gonna be harder for them to get money, things are gonna get more expensive. Everything is gonna get everything's just gonna get worse for the people who are living here and have to depend on the salary that they earn from what they do as work here in Ecuador. That's why what I'm saying, that's why part of my argument, and it's not really an argument, it's more like part of what I want everyone to understand. If you're already earning a lot of money, like if there's a lot of families here who probably aren't even gonna feel it. Like if your income is $2,000 or more, if you're earning a ton of money, in general, or like, you know, whatever it is that is your income source is really high, like you're not gonna see this as a huge, horrible thing, and you're not gonna feel worried about what's going to happen next because you're okay. Like if I had sat here all day and like not even listened to the news, not talked to my dad, not heard what my friends were saying, and just sat down and edited all day, I wouldn't have even known because it's something that doesn't affect me at the moment. As soon as I step out into the world and talk to people and listen to what's happening on the news, that's where I understand what's happening here and how bad the situation is. And that's not me saying that I have a good situation here in Ecuador to be able to withstand this. It's just you can live in this situation where you don't know what's happening because you don't see it directly. And the effect, like I said, the main major effects are going to be tomorrow. Most likely. I want to believe that nothing's going to happen and tomorrow everything's just going to keep flowing the way it has. And that would be perfect. But tomorrow there could be chaos. People could be afraid to go out on the streets. Crime could go up because even criminals feel the effects of the situation, of course. So they want more money. So you never know what's going to happen. Right now I'm okay. But tomorrow I might not be okay. Economically, my family is not okay. My dad was telling me about the debts. He hasn't had good business in months apparently. Like ever since the political campaign where things were good, like at the beginning of the year, Now it's just been a dry season because of the feriado, which, well, looking at Carnaval, Semana Santa, the beginning of school, Mother's Day. There's just been a lot of reasons for people to take their money and spend it on something that's more important and not go out and eat at his business. And that's been affecting us because for him, everything's gotten tighter. Like he has to see how he manages the money better. And that's considering me and my brother are helping, even if it's a minimal help. But that's as much as we can help with because we're not earning a lot either. The good thing is that now I've gotten another job. Like some may know, I'm also offering tour services, translations. If you need something, I'm here. But really the situation is hard for us right now. My mom, if my mom were working, it would be better. She does nails and hair and stuff, but other than that, it's not like she has a stable income. And the situation has been tough for us. It might not look that way because, of course, these are things that I've had like my whole life, and some of the things that I've obtained with what I save. Like some may know, like I've said before, I get all the money that I work with, I save it, and then afterwards I buy something for myself. I can't go out and say tonight I'm gonna go out and get something to eat because those $5 that I could use to get something to eat might be $5 that I need for tomorrow. My dad might need those, or something might happen where we just need those $5. And it seems ridiculous to say, but Ace, it's $5. Like $5 is a meal here. So I can't brush it off, and I can't just like willy-nilly say I'm gonna spend money. I need a new pair of glasses and I can't buy them because it's like if I go out and spend $100, $200, whatever a pair of glasses, a good pair, because these I thought were good, but if they were good, they wouldn't have broken. A good pair of glasses, I can't just go out and buy them right now because there's no, the means just doesn't let me do that right now. And that's the situation, at least with my family, that we're living through, where we can't just go out and say, hey, we're gonna spend this money on this thing because, you know, we can. My dad was earlier saying he's had the same pair of shoes since 2016, and he recently bought himself a pair of shoes, but they're for work. They're for work, for him to go out, to go buy things. That's just the way the situation is for someone who lives and works here. It might not be the same way for everyone. Like I said, there are people in the upper class who are just like, they're brushing this off because they're okay. But that's not the situation for everyone. So Don, your question, honestly, I can't say what's going to happen, but once again, if other countries aren't willing to invest in Ecuador, I find it really hard to believe that Ecuador is going to have money to take care appropriately of any investments that anyone has made in the country. Will they respect it? And if they owe you something, will they pay it? Of course, they have to. If they don't, then they're just putting themselves in more problems. What happens when you don't get paid in a public institution? You can sue. You can sue. And if you sue, that's just them having to pay more money. Of course, you have to wait time for that case to go through, but you can sue. So, you know. So I don't know if anyone saw Germán's comment about Alvarito. Alvarito always is the person who's like running for elections, and no one, like, people, he's like the people's choice of like, oh, he seems like a good guy, but he never gets voted for. He never wins. Okay. I was saying that's gotta be terrifying. I feel bad for everyone hit with vacunas. Yeah, it's horrible. Honestly, when I heard that about the uncle of my friend's girlfriend, it didn't feel good. Like it felt bad to hear about it because a lot of the times we hear about problems. I can tell you about a problem that happened. You might just be like, Ace, I don't see it. It doesn't matter. But when it happens to someone really close to you, like you feel it more. If it were to happen to my friends, I would feel it like directly. When my best friend, he has his cell phone business. When he got robbed, like that hurt me because I was like, how do I help this man if I don't even have money? Like, how can I pay and help someone if I don't even have money to pay for myself? So it felt really bad. And I'm just glad for him because he had a good employee. He also, luckily, he had the help and support of his girlfriend. Like, he was able to get through because he had that support. But not everyone has that support. Not everyone is in the same position. And some people, these situations hit harder than others. Um, Hello, Mark. Thank you very much for your eyeglasses. Thank you. I appreciate it. Honestly, I need these glasses. I'm tired. Like right now, whenever I try to see something, it becomes very blurry. And I think these glasses, when I use them, because I can still use them, but now after I use them for a prolonged period of time, I get a headache. And it's like, that didn't happen before. So these medidas, by the way, the word for, I guess, measurements is medidas, the measurement, basically whatever this needs for the lens, they're just not my measurement anymore. They're not the ones that I need. I need one that's probably stronger at this point because I've just gone so long without treating my eye health. The last time I got my eyesight checked was probably 4 years ago, before pandemic for sure. But I definitely need to get that checked. I need to get that fixed. So Mark, thank you very much. You didn't have to. You went out of your way, and I appreciate it. I feel like the little aliens from Toy Story. I am eternally grateful. Okay, so Robert Ashley, how would you assess the mainstream media coverage of Lasso's invoking Muerte Cruzada? Is it biased in one direction or another? Do the people mistrust the media just as they mistrust the politics? Of course. Earlier I mentioned this a little bit, but there seems to be a mix of the purpose, like what people believe was the purpose of the I keep forgetting the name, the Muerte Cruzada. So some people believe that Lasso just invoked it because he declared it because, oh, I'm about to get impeached, I need to save my butt. Muerte Cruzada. Other people say that it was a good move because this gives people the power of democracy. You get the choice, is this the president you want? If you don't want him, choose your own president. So what I was reading from news coverage is the United States still supports it. Mexico thinks that this isn't a problem. But this just feels like a lot of opinions from people who are not living through the situation as we're living through it right now. Like I just said, my dad is not doing well, like in terms of economic situation. And what makes it worse is that he has this savings in the bank, and now he can't withdraw it because, of course, there's a problem in the bank where someone can't justify the spending of a specific amount of money, so now the money is frozen in a bank. So my dad's rainy day fund, he can't access, and he needs it, and we need the money, and it's like why? And it's so frustrating because every time I try to come up with a solution, like all of these things that I've been reading, all of the problems, the Muerte Cruzada itself, the fact that the president's going to be impeached, the crime, the inflation, the situation ever since the pandemic, every problem that has happened in the country, I always think to myself, what is the solution? Like, we talk about, oh, it's a problem, oh, Lasso is bad, oh, Correa was bad, oh, inflation, we're suffering. Argentina has worse inflation than Ecuador. Like we complain so much about all the things that are happening. Crime in the United States, like the mass shootings, it's worse than here. But we complain here so much about the things that are happening, but no one does anything about it. Like no one says, so we have all these problems. This is the solution. I'm always waiting for that. Like I'm always waiting for someone to say, I think the solution would be this. And it just never shows up. So a lot of people are skeptical about what everyone is saying about the whole situation. People think that even with Muerte Cruzada, even with the whole impeachment, it doesn't matter what you do in the country, we're going to go back to the same situation. Once we elect the new president, if Lasso was that bad, we elect the new president isn't going to do anything. I was reading the situation that there was this interview to this person, I think this lady who was part of a political campaign or one of the congressmen who was saying like a whole bunch of things about the situation. But when they asked her a specific question about, I don't remember if it was about Lasso or like something really specific that she couldn't answer, she just acted like she didn't hear it and she kept answering things based on her own convenience. And that was a live interview that I haven't watched, but I read what a person summarized about it, and it felt insane. Like, Like her only purpose was to get media coverage for her political campaign, apparently. But that's not the way it should be. We want solutions. We don't want to. We like knowing the problems so that we know what's happening, but we want solutions. I want solutions. So yeah, there is mistrust in what the news is saying, because the news is biased. The news is always going to go for what, and we have to talk about that with Korea as well, because that was another story before. Don Shader worried about your money investments. I mean, I'd be worried if I had anything invested too. I'm not good at investing, so I don't know if it would be like good or bad, like what the situation is going to be. But like I said, when there's instability, everything suffers, especially right now that there's instability with safety, there's instability with money, instability with politics. So everything is just bad. Everything is just not good. Don, you don't have to do that, man, but I appreciate it. Either way, man, it's going straight into the glasses. As soon as I get out of this and I find a way, I'm gonna go get those glasses. And you guys are gonna see them, because I was actually trying on some glasses and I posted some pictures on Instagram. Well, I posted a picture of like the glasses that I really liked, but I couldn't buy them. I just wanted to show, and I also asked about my hair, which I might cut. But Don, I really appreciate you, man. And I mean, it's gonna help a lot. It's tough times. I'm doing a lot more now because I'm even giving more English classes, and I'm coordinating to give maybe some Spanish classes as well. So I've got a lot to do, and I'm gonna try to make this situation better for everyone here, because my objective in my house is to make the situation better for everyone, because I really want things to be good here. So Don, thank you for being you, and I appreciate it. And today I'm not using the mics that you gave me, but I used them the other day to record. Fantastic. I'm glad I'm not I'm an emotional person, but I'm glad when I'm being praised by someone, I can't be emotional. I think that's a good thing. Should I pull my money out of Banco Pichincha and move it to my US bank account? 954, I can't give you that kind of advice because I would hate to be wrong. But if you are worried, maybe you might want to consider doing it if you're worried to that level. But don't make a hasty decision, but also don't sit and do nothing, because you don't know exactly what could happen. Gloria, having money in Ecuador is extremely dangerous, and I see your concerns. Having money in those cooperativas are just as risky. Yeah, like I said earlier with the situation with my dad, right now because of some problem with someone who was part of the, sorry if the mic, I hope it was well heard. But my dad, because of some situation with the place where he was saving money, and someone who can't justify the money that's being saved, now he can't take the money out of the bank. And to me, that's ridiculous. Like what fault does my dad have that someone doesn't know how to keep track of the money? But like, it seems, I guess it seems silly, but I guess they're trying to figure out who's the person who doesn't know what they're doing there, but I don't know. It's just frustrating and sad. Robert Ashley, thank you very much. Appreciate your genuine engagement and concern about Ecuador's challenges and your families. Bien trabajo. Muchísimas gracias. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I just want to help. Honestly, if you're here and you're here, I'm thankful to you for being here, for spending the time with me, for listening to this situation, and keeping up to date with what's happening in Ecuador, because sometimes things happen so fast. Like, I did not plan to do a live stream today. I promised in my post when I did the poll that my next live stream would be planned and it would be once a month, but I did not expect the president to declare this Muerte thing, and I keep forgetting the name, Muerte Cruzada. And it's such a weird name that it felt darker than it actually is, because it's bad, but how bad it is really going to depend on what happens tomorrow and forward. And Raul, hello, how's it going? and not a problem. And I just hope that this helps give you a little bit more clarity. This helps you think a little bit more about the situation. We still have a lot to say, and I still want to finish reading the comments. Yodas, hello. Thank you very much for your support. Let's see here. So true, lol. My entire family is always complaining about how horrible Ecuador is. It's annoying. Expats appreciate Ecuador more than actual Ecuadorians. You know, that was part of a conversation that I wanted to have in my podcast episode. Like always, everyone here in the chat, you get the spoilers. You get to listen to it first, I guess. But there's this big situation, like debate, about how everyone views the country that they're going to live in, the country that they're visiting, the country that they want to visit, that they love, that they like. But just think about it this way. And this is part of my Quito video also, so spoiler, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I'm spoiling this early, but I hope you enjoy it. If you visit a country, like you visit here Ecuador, and you love Ecuador, like you are in every right to love Ecuador. Like Ecuador is great. But the people here, when they visit the United States, it's the best thing in the world. Like, I know people who will take 1,000,000 photos and they're just showing off their trip to the United States. But it's the same thing. When people visit a country that they're not used to, an environment that's completely different than their own, when they see things from the perspective of just a person who's visiting, like if I visit right now, if I go to Canada, which I've heard Canada is great, like to me, everything I know about Canada, one of the best places in the world. I really want to go. But I don't know the reality that everyone is living in Canada. But if I were to go, I would only go for touristic purposes. Like I would go, visit for like a week, have fun, explore, enjoy the cold. Maybe I would freeze my butt off, but you know, I like to believe that since I'm always feeling super hot, like I would feel actually cold in Canada. So I would enjoy it, but from the perspective of a person who's not living in the country. Because maybe for people living in the country, they're living through hardships because maybe the economy is tough, maybe there's no work. I don't know what the situation in Canada is, by the way. This is just me giving an example. But I don't know the actual situation of the place that I would be visiting, except for it has a beautiful waterfall, the Niagara Falls. It's really cold, it looks really nice, it feels really safe. Like those are the things that I know. And that's the only thing I can judge it by. And the week that I'm there, it doesn't give me enough time to really say, this is a good country. It wouldn't be fair for me to give that judgment and say it's the best place or my favorite place because I haven't lived there to see if I were there and working and interacting with the locals and doing the things that everyone else does, would it still be a great place? I have no doubt that it would. I really hope that Canada is the place that my mind has it set to be. But that's just the idea. I actually had an even better example with Florida. A lot of people think Florida's crazy because of Florida Man, because of Ron DeSantis right now. I don't know what everyone thinks about him, but I've been reading the news. Things are pretty crazy in Florida. And I used to live in Florida. And for me, Florida is the best place. Like, it's great. Like, it's Florida. It's the place where I was raised. But from the perspective of someone living in Florida, they know it's hard. It's expensive. It's pretty crazy. From the perspective of a tourist, if I were to go to Florida and just go for Rapids, for Orlando, for Disney World, Islands of Adventure, I would think Florida is freaking awesome. I would think Florida is the best place ever because it's just fun. But that's my perspective as someone who does not live there. Like, it's not the reality. So how can I say that this place is great if I'm not living the reality? So that's the situation that we have here, that I understand, like Ecuadorians, they don't like Ecuador because of how bad things are here, like how bad everything has been. The corruption, the petty crime, the more serious crime, the lack of safety when you go out on the streets, the worry that something might happen to you, the kidnappings, the 3 girls that were kidnapped in Esmeraldas and found buried on the beach. There's a lot of horrible things that have been happening here. But that's not going to happen to everyone. That's not going to be the reality that people see here when they visit. And that's okay. But that makes it harder for you to give like the idea that this is the best place ever because you know these things are happening. But yeah, moving on. So once again, Raul and Gloria, also to Robert Ashley, I appreciate it. Gloria, Ace, you are doing a great job explaining the truth of the reality of Ecuador, unlike what other gringo YouTubers that sugarcoat the situation. Sometimes I kind of wonder if they sugarcoat it because there's incentive, but I don't know if there is. With me and Don Shader, if you're still here, we always try to tell the truth because we know what it is to live here and we want to be like as truthful so that when you come, you're ready for the real experience in Ecuador. Like I said, I don't know if other YouTubers might just, maybe they're just not here long enough. Like there's some people that I understand. Like I said just a while ago, if you're here for a week, it's really hard to say what the reality is of Ecuador. Like I recently saw a video. Let me see if I can find the channel name. I think it was Drifters. Let me see, Drifters. A couple of Drifters. I saw their video about Guayaquil. Their whole video, it was precious. It was like you would say in Spanish, it was precioso. Like Guayaquil looked so nice from their perspective. But maybe because they just weren't living the whole Guayaquil experience. The way they portrayed it, it was great. And I love that Guayaquil is getting good exposure because it's not evil. Like Guayaquil isn't like oh, it's part of Ecuador. It's not evil. It's just, unfortunately, there are bad things happening in Guayaquil right now because there's so much insecurity, there's so much danger, there's so many problems. So it's just the reality. It's hard to live the reality if you're only in a place for a week or a short amount of time. Once you're there longer, once you've integrated with society, you've been there for like a year, you've experienced everything you have to see, like you start to, and that's experiencing it, not just seeing it, but like going around and checking things out. That's when you begin to notice there's a lot of bad things that are happening. And it's pretty tough there. Like once you realize these other things. Once again, I'm really happy that Guayaquil got such a positive mention. But I'm also like being realistic that Guayaquil does have its problems and you're not gonna see them all in a one-day visit, in a one-week visit, maybe even in a one-month visit. Cynthia, I appreciate you. Thank you for your support. And all of this is just gonna go straight into buying new glasses because I need them. If possible, I'm just gonna go get them this weekend because with the support, I think I might actually be able to do it. Even though there's certain situations, but I'll work through them. For sure. I need my eyesight because when I edit my videos, I'm editing like this the whole time, like editing, like doing my edits. So it's a lot of focus and a lot of eyesight that I feel like I'm losing while I'm doing these edits. So I need the glasses. This is a necessity, and I appreciate you guys helping me make this a reality. Now I won't have to like say, oh, I can't do this. Let me go up a bit because there's still some comments. Robert Ashley, as a Canadian, I can assure you we've got some serious problems. You're right. A visitor is likely to come here with a dreamy perception, but there are plenty of ugly realities beneath the surface. It's just the way it is. I would love to say that every country is just perfect and like everyone has the best situation ever and I'm the crazy one. Like I would love it if I would just like every time I talk about danger, you guys could just tell me, Ace, you're crazy. Ecuador is safe. Like if that were the truth, like I wouldn't complain about it. I would love it because I want Ecuador to be safe. Why would I want the place that I live in to be dangerous? But unfortunately, that's just not the case. There's a lot of problems here that we can't just like brush off because you know, one person had a good time. It's sad to say, but it's true. Lorena just got back from Cuenca 48 hours ago. Oh, awesome. I hope you had a good time. And I did not see a single gringo walking around Parque Calderon. Why is that so? Is Ecuador that dangerous? Gloria, I can't tell you why. I would love to, but I'm not living in Cuenca. But as a rule of thumb, any place that is desolate of people or a specific group of people maybe, in this case maybe expats, there's probably a reason for it. There's a lot of places in the city that we as like Portovejenses, people who live in Puerto Viejo, we know, like for example, there's this place in the city called Floron. Dangerous place. You can't go there. You do not want to go there. Anytime anyone tells you, hey, let's go to Floron, tell them no thank you. Same thing for San Pablo. Don't go there. It's dangerous. Everyone knows it's dangerous, which is weird because it's called San Pablo, like Saint Pablo. So it's like, you would think it's cool, but it isn't. And you just know the places that are dangerous and you avoid them. So whenever you see a desolate area like that, just assume it's dangerous. But I know that Cuenca, for the most part, is supposed to be really safe. So even if it's just one area, don't let that turn you off from Cuenca. Just assume that it's better to avoid that place. Gloria, maybe they were still sleeping. When I was there, I saw a lot of them. Don't forget, we old. Nah, Don, you got the energy and the spirit of a young guy. We still got to hang out again. We got things to do, but I keep forgetting the camera's over here today, not over here. So we got to hang out. We got things to do. Mark, Gloria, I'm with you. Ace does a great job. I really like when he and Don get together with their two perspectives. We still got to do that again. We got to do another live stream one day, Don. If you're still here, Don, don't forget, live stream. But going back into this whole political mess, I'm not a fan of politics, but I'm kind of concerned about what comes next after Lasso, because like people are saying, you get rid of Lasso, but who's going to take his place? I honestly don't know in the country anyone who would have the capacity, and not mental capacity, but more like the virtues needed to be able to actually make the country better. And I'm kind of with this mindset, and maybe someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but like, just because there's a new president doesn't mean that the country resets from zero. I know that's the reality, but aside from that, if the country doesn't reset from zero, if the country's bad, let's just say the country is at a 10 out of 100, the new president has to take it from 10 and move it up to like to 100 or to 50 to 40, 60, 80. Like, they have to move it up. But they're starting off at a really, at a deficit, at a really low value. Like, how do they do that? Like, I think what's going to happen, and this kind of relates to something a comment that I read earlier, the country's not going to get fixed with a new president. Like, whoever comes and takes the position of the president, even if they're perfect, even if they're Bukele, let's just say, I don't think he's perfect, but let's just say, they're not going to be able to take the country to greatness like that. Like, it's going to take time. Like, the person in the comment said 20 years for Ecuador to get good. And we're talking, and in my opinion, we're talking about getting good, but with a good president for 20 years. So that means every 4-year cycle of a president, we need a good president. And what's the guarantee that after this president, let's say this next president is great, what's the guarantee that the next president isn't going to be terrible? All the work that one president does to take the country to 50%, 60, 70, dropped down by another president who just doesn't care, who just wants the money because of how rampant corruption is. It's hard to think of what the solution is. And I remember the other day, and not just the other day, in conversations that I've had constantly, and I've mentioned this before. I mentioned this in my Dark Truth of Selena video, like what happened in Salinas, and the dark truth behind Ecuador, I guess. I don't remember the title exactly, but Ecuadorians are Ecuadorians' worst enemy. Because an Ecuadorian will, like all of us, we will all say, Ecuadorians are so great. Like I know, I have my best friend. He's the nicest person ever. My dad, if he's in a pinch, he knows he has friends who will help him out. And it's not constant. He has to, obviously, if he asks for a loan, he has to pay it back. And it's hard right now. But like, he has friends who he can just talk to and hang out with. Like, we have friends. And I think everyone who's been here, you've met someone who's just been so nice. If you watched my recent video with the interviews with the foreigners, they even said, like, they met like people who are just super nice. They'll tell you good morning on the street. They'll be really nice. But an Ecuadorian, when you ask them, what do you think about other Ecuadorians? They're all the same. They're lazy. They don't want to do things correctly. They're always trying to find shortcuts. They want to do this whole slick thing. Like, I can get one over on you. So if I were to charge, like, if someone were to charge like for a service like $100 normally, since you don't know the price, they'll charge you more. Like, it's just so bad. Like, why do people have to be like that? And like I said, Ecuadorians are their own worst enemy because they talk about each other in that way. I wouldn't have even thought about those things if someone wouldn't have told me them. So it's just that. It's just there's so much to absorb with this kind of situation. Gloria, first time listening to Ace of the Cuff and unscripted. Whenever we do a live stream, there's no script. The most script I have right now is there's this over here. I have the news articles that talk about the whole impeachment. I'll read one to you in a bit so we can analyze it. I was actually going to do that at the beginning, but I decided to leave that for now. He has a great grasp of communicating with the public. He should do more of these live talks. I had suggested it in my community tab. I asked, how often do you want to see live streams? And there at first, the majority was voting for 2 live streams a month. So it was going to be 1 live stream in the middle of the month and 1 live stream at the end of the month. But now, because the majority was no, like they changed it to 1. Like the majority voted for 1 live stream per month. So every month I will do a live stream on the 2nd Saturday of the month. So just to give you an idea, next month is June. We would have the live stream on the 10th of June. So I'm just gonna write it in the live chat. So next live stream, June 10th. Unless something crazy happens. If something crazy happens, then I promise I'll send I'll write another community tab poll and ask, do you guys want to see a live stream talking about this? And if the majority say yes, then we'll do it. But yeah, I'm going to soon read one of these articles. There's another comment from Gloria. Police in Cuenca. I noticed that groups of 5 cops would be together and on their phones texting and not doing their job of being visible and greeting tourists. They must be underpaid or simply lazy. Oh man. Don, I don't know if you're still here, but I think you can also chime in on this about what the situation with cops is in the country. I just wanted to drink a little bit of water. My throat was getting dry. But me and Don can give you what we know about this situation. There are very good police in some places. But if we talk about a percentage, the majority of people would agree that like 90% of cops are, that 90% of cops are probably terrible, and maybe 10% are actually competent. I actually talked about that in my Truth About Ecuador video, I think, my 13 Truths. But most of the time, and this is just, and I think this is the better situation where cops are just on their phone. Sometimes they'll see a car speeding past a red light, they won't follow it. Sometimes they'll just they'll see people doing things that are illegal, they won't follow it. They know that there's a crime, they'll act like it didn't happen. If you watched my my What Happened to Vera de Ucrania, let me see if I can pull up that video right now. I'll post a link. Maybe you guys want to watch it later. Not now, please. We're in the live stream. But if you haven't seen the video about the dark story of Vera de Ucrania, like that is just the epitome of how terrible, like the end of it is just the epitome of how terrible it is with cops. But just to give you a mini spoiler, basically Vera got kidnapped with some people. They went the next day to talk to the police in order to find the car of their friend, and the police didn't want to do anything, didn't even want to go after these criminals. It was just kind of like, okay, it happened, and like, what can you do about it? It was, man, I don't get it sometimes. Like you would think if you chose the job of being a cop, like you have like the desire of making the country a better place. Like I kind of think of it like this. If I were to be a cop, because I've seen all my life that all the cops are bad, like why would I want to be like them? Like I complain about the cops, so why would I want to be a cop like them? I would go in and become a cop that's a good cop. But it feels like all the cops, they just go in and they're like, if they can be lazy, I can be lazy and I can earn a lot of money. Hey. So, you know, that's the situation. And I'm actually surprised that you saw that in Cuenca because, I mean, Cuenca, once again, has been touted as one of the top 3, top 4, maybe top 5 cities for safety in Ecuador. So maybe it was just an isolated incident that you saw, I hope. But so it's just the way things are here. The cops, they leave much to be desired. But yeah, that's the video of Vera. If you haven't seen it, you can check it out later. Let's read this article, which is from, according to this, the Washington Post. Ecuador President Guillermo Lasso dissolves Congress, avoiding impeachment. Like I said, a lot of the people, what they're saying is his purpose for doing this was to avoid being impeached. So Ecuador's, I want to say beleaguered, president on the verge of impeachment dissolved the country's legislature on Wednesday, moving to rule by decree and pledging to hold a new presidential election within 6 months. A lot of the conversation and leaving the article to the side, they say that the next election, it has to be between 90 days, like that was the maximum time frame, but a lot of the articles that I've read, they say 6 months. So it's kind of iffy when exactly the elections are going to take place. So continuing with the article, the move, an apparent last-ditch effort by Guillermo Lasso to avoid impeachment over embezzlement accusations his supporters call bogus, could be the beginning of the end for one of the few remaining conservative heads of government in South America. It will likely further the country's political turmoil. And that's an important sentence right there. It will likely further the country's political turmoil. Because like I said before, the country was already politically unstable. A lot of people have lost faith in Lasso because Lasso is just not doing things right. And a lot of people say that that was to be expected. How could you assume that you were going to elect a banker, Lasso is a banker, into power and expect him to do things for the people who need it, like, the general population, the majority, which are lower and middle class, and not for the people who are upper and higher class? So it was you could say it was a big problem. Electing him, but once again, what was the right choice? Elect him or elect the guy that wanted to change the dollar? Like, people just didn't have a good option. Mark, I'm wondering now if I should postpone my thoughts of a trip to Quito and Cuenca in the next couple of weeks. It will be interesting to see the mood of people when I go into town tomorrow. Yeah, definitely analyze things tomorrow and after. Like the rest of this week is going to be, like, to me, tomorrow has to be the turning point. If everything is good tomorrow, then excellent. I mean, I think you're still set. But either way, be cautious. Think not just tomorrow, think Friday. And if until Friday everything is good, then you can assume things aren't going to go completely crazy instantly. At least I hope that's the case. Continuing on, moving on. As of Wednesday morning, legislators were unable to enter the National Assembly, which was blocked by the military and police. Thank goodness, because if it wouldn't have been blocked by the police, I think a lot of people were going to be in danger there because of how bad things are getting. We'll talk more this weekend. For sure, Mark. For sure. The U.S. Embassy in Quito said it respects Ecuador's internal and constitutional processes. Or, I'm not sure if it would be processes. We will continue working with the constitutional government, civil society, the private sector, and the Ecuadorian people, U.S. Ambassador Michael J. Fitzpatrick said in a statement. The bilateral relationship between the United States and Ecuador remains strong. I'm actually glad that things are good between the United States and Ecuador because I kind of feel like that gives Ecuadorians another opening of opportunity if they want to, leave. Um, like I've said before, people are big fans of leaving the country. Like, you should. I like that's the argument again. It's funny how gringos, like Americans, Canadians, people from other countries, all of you, I assume, everyone wants to come to Ecuador, and I love it, and I love that you want to visit Ecuador. It's really beautiful, but it's funny how, in the reverse sense, everyone here wants to leave. Like, you will see hardcore patriotism of Ecuadorians, like Ecuador for life. But if you give them the chance to leave, people will like take it like that. I am a fan of that grumpy old guy too, Don Shader, funny guy. ANJP sugarcoat Ecuador too much, and I'm hesitant. Can't trust all of their information. Either way, keep up the good work. I appreciate your support towards me and Don Shader. We always try to say things as they are. If there's ever anything you need to know, leave us a comment, send us an email, communicate with us, because even if we can't get back to you like that, sometimes I've just got so many comments. I've got a video I have to finish editing, which will probably take me today, tomorrow, and Friday. I'm hoping to finish by the weekend because I want to record some more. But if I can't, then, you do what you can. But I really don't know. For example, Amelia and JP, I do know they have like a separate website. I think they have articles. I don't know if that's paid. They have a community on Buy Me a Coffee. I have a community on Buy Me a Coffee, but honestly, nothing's restricted. Like, nothing's restricted to the point that if there's something important, I communicate it on the channel. Buy Me a Coffee is just if you want to support me, if you think that you can support me, you want to help me out, you can become a member, you can send me a donation on Buy Me a Coffee, and then we don't have to work with YouTube, because sometimes YouTube, the cut that they take, or sometimes they're just kind of they're a pain to work with sometimes. But either way is fine. I appreciate it no matter what. But I don't know. I think Amir and JP have like a community. They talk through calls. I want to do that too, but I don't know if it's something that interests everyone, like a group call on Zoom or something. It's something that I have set on Buy Me a Coffee as an option if you want to be a member in that level, but I don't know if it's worth it. I just think I'm probably going to remove that tier because it just feels like it wouldn't be. It's not necessary. But anyways, this was also something important, this next little paragraph here. Lasso is the first Ecuadorian president to apply a constitutional mechanism known as Muerte Cruzada. So honestly, no other president has done this, but it's kind of ironic. Lasso just technically had two firsts. Lasso's the first president, from what I know, to be taken to court. Like, he was the first one to be taken to this situation where he was in the position to be impeached. And now he's the first president to do this Muerte Cruzada, which, once again, mutual death sounds like the best translation to it. Due to the grave political crisis and social unrest in the country. It's a drastic step, allowing him to shut down the legislature while setting him on the path to give up office in about 6 months. He can, however, run a candidate in the election. So I don't think Lasso is just going to completely let go of his power. He will probably send someone who he believes would be the best choice. I think anyone in a political campaign would do that. I can't confirm that. I'm not a president and I've never been one. But I assume when you want to run a country and you want things to go well, from your perspective, what is well, a plus sign, by the way, not a cross, you send someone to do your work for you. You send someone who you believe will make things right. Will the next president do things right? I have no idea. Honestly, it's really hard to say, because if we get another Lasso, then we're just in the same situation. If we get Arauz, we might lose the dollar. And then things are going to get really crazy, I think. I don't know if a change of currency is going to be the solution. Just look at Argentina, how they're suffering with inflation. They have their own currency, so imagine us with our currency, how things might go, especially when you consider what the conversion might be from the dollar into that. Will it be better? Will it be worse? So there's a lot of factors to look at when it comes to this situation, and I don't know who's going to benefit from this other than people who are like already in a good position. Like people who are already in a good position, they don't care. Like I don't ever see anyone who's rich complaining about the situation. It's always the people. My friends who have 9-to-5s, who have their own entrepreneurships, their own businesses, and they're just trying to get by. And it's tough. So it's hard to say what's going to happen, but I just hope that whatever happens is the best possible outcome, and I hope that none of this makes it hard for you to come to Ecuador or deters you from coming to Ecuador, because once again, Ecuador is great. You're going to come here, you're going to love it. I just hope that you get to stay long enough to feel that this is the right country for you if you're planning on staying. And if it's not, it's the decision that you made based on what you saw for being here a long time. Not just because, like, you can be here for a day and get robbed. But if you're here for a year and it's perfect, then stay. Why not? So I don't know if anyone has any questions or if you would like me to read another article. I do want to check some out. I also want to read some of the comments from a post that I made on Reddit. Some people are commenting what they believe about the situation because I wanted to see what everyone thought. So I don't know if there's anyone who has any questions. If not, I will read some of the comments that I've seen about the situation. And also drink a little bit of this. By the way, for anyone who hasn't been here before, this is water with lemon with salt. The lemon for vitamin C, the salt for minerals, electrolytes, and now a straw, so that way the water doesn't make contact with my teeth and mess up my teeth because it's acidic, it's lemon. So I'm trying to take good care of myself and stay in good health. So yeah, if you have any questions, please write them down. I'm going to read some of the comments here. They're in Spanish, but I'll translate them. I can't speak well sometimes. So I made a post on Reddit basically asking if they can explain to me, like, what is the objective of Muerte Cruzada? Because while my mind says that the positive objective is just to make things better, to reset the situation, to give people the choice, democracy and all, I don't know if that's actually the case. So I want to see what people thought about it. So according to one comment, they believe that it was, like I said before, to save his butt. What is clear is that there will be new elections for president and for Congress, but we're going to be in the same situation because no one is capable of governing. This is a comment on Reddit, and it goes back to the situation that I said before. People don't have faith in what's to come next because every time we have a new president, in the cities, every time we have a new mayor, whenever there's someone in power, they just tend to take advantage of the situation and take the money for themselves. So people have lost faith in things going well, but I have hope. Someone replied to that and they said, it's true, unfortunately, there's no one better, or no hay nadie más o menos peor. Yeah, there's no one either better or worse. And the nightmare or the headache begins here because in that time that he has to be the president, he could come up with ridiculous ideas like growing the economy for more than 400,000 families. This is something that I saw a lot of people complaining about with Lasso, and I think it's kind of true. Lasso, when he paints the situation to everyone, like he'll go on the news and he'll say, the government has created new jobs, the country is safe, everything is okay. Like, he paints everything like there's no problems here in Ecuador, but that's not the truth. Everyone who's living here in the country knows that's not the truth. It's easy to say that nothing's happening here and everything's all right, but that's not the reality. You go out on the streets and you're worried about getting robbed. My dad says that the streets have been empty, like for business. People are shutting down their businesses because they're afraid of the vaccines and they're afraid of crime in general. And some people, they're even just closing down their business because they're just not getting enough business as it is. Because people are afraid to go out. People don't want to go out because of crime. And if they go out even with crime, they don't want to spend money because there's no money. With so much instability, you have to save it. Like I mentioned earlier in this stream, people don't want to waste the little money that they have because that's just going to leave them in a bad spot if something terrible happens. And at the rate things are going, I mean, you never know. We could wake up tomorrow and chaos ensues. I wouldn't be surprised if someone in the craziness of their mind decides to put a hit on Lasso because of what he did. I don't want that to happen. I don't want anything bad to happen to anyone. But people have gone to some extremes, so I wouldn't be surprised. So someone else in another comment says, Lasso is corrupt. He revealed his corruption through means of the Post. I'm guessing this is La Posta. I'm guessing that's another news site because I think I have seen it. The Congress took him to court, and it looked like they could impeach him this weekend. To avoid that, the president, he called the whole Muerte Cruzada. This is the explanation. But at the end, the new Congress will have to vote yes or no about the decrees, and it's most or more probable they will all vote against the decrees because no, and that's why they're going to give the new presidential elections. No one in the country wants him. He has an acceptance rate of about 8%, according to all the surveys. He's a failure and his days are numbered. This person was aggressive, but I did see that Lasso right now is not good in approval by the general population. Daniel, if I understand the situation correctly, rule by degree is what Lasso is now doing, which is the same as martial law, general, absolute monarch, and absolute dictators. I wouldn't know if that is the case, but all I know is that he has approximately 6 months, I'd say from 3 to 6 months, to stay in power, and once that time is up, nothing can keep him there because he called the Muerte Cruzada, and this whole Muerte Cruzada basically means that there's going to be another election. Like, no matter what, there's going to be another election. So a new president is going to be chosen in the upcoming months. So everyone be prepared for that. And when it happens, I will be sure to give you my thoughts, of course, on the whole situation. And show you at least from the perspective of someone living here, because I really hope things get well and things are okay by the time that the new presidential elections come up. Because the worst part of all of this is that, the worst thing that could happen is that from here to, let's just say, a month, 2 months, 3 months, when the next president comes into power, crime could get worse, inflation could get worse, the political instability could get worse, people won't want to lend money to the country, everything's just going to spiral out of control. That could happen. By the way, Aaron, thank you very much, and good evening, Aaron. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for your support. Earlier, I don't know if you were here this whole time, but earlier we talked about how this is going into buying new glasses. I almost messed up my tripod. So I'm going to replace these, and hopefully, yes, I will have new glasses. So let's see here. Let's see. Luis of Ecuador. Hello, Ace. Just made it here. Hello, Luis. How are you doing? Decree, not degree. Typo. It's okay. It happens. Luis, no, Daniel. He can only sign decrees related to economic measures, and these decrees have to be approved by the Supreme Court. So there is a process you have to go through before you get these decrees done. I really hope that he doesn't become a dictator, because the last thing Ecuador would need, and giving people another reason to escape, would be having a dictator in the country. But anyways, let me read the last comment that I saw on this post that I made. So the consensus seems to be unanimous, because this person also says he did it to save his reputation and not be the president who in history was the first, was a president that was impeached. It's the only reason. He doesn't care about democracy or Ecuador. And also they're responding about the trial. And about the trial, it depends on who you ask. The Lassies, which is who they call people who support Lasso, so I'm going to write that in the chat. The Lassies, los Lassies. It's like, if you ever see Lassies, I guess it's for Lasso supporters. And if you see Correístas, those are the people who support or supported Correa. And they still do. So he doesn't care about democracy, about the case. The Lassies will tell you that he doesn't have anything to do with it, and it's illegal for them to have taken him to court. The rest of people, cuerdas, I'm going to write that in the chat because that's an interesting word. Cuerdas, basically people who are paying attention, people who are in line. That's the way I can interpret it, because cuerda is like a rope. So the people, cuerdas, they will tell you that it was legal, but the Congress, with the low level that they had, they managed it with little seriousness. So they didn't do it seriously. They didn't do it well. Without mentioning the fact that the government metió la mano. That's another interesting expression. Metió la mano. Hello, hello, hello. I don't know why the mic died. Let me see if it's the battery of the mic. Yeah, I think it's the battery. Sorry. It's probably the battery of the mic. Let me connect the other mic. Thank God. Thank you, Don Shader, for your support. No. It was the mic. It ran out of battery. It's my bad. I didn't expect it to run out of battery. So let me set this up. Okay. Hold up. It would be over here. Connect this here. Connect this here. Testing. How does that sound? Hello? Can you hear me? Excellent. All good. Whew. I didn't even realize. But anyways, I was going into this vocabulary because in this comment that the person made, they used a lot of interesting words, and I think they're important to talk about. I need to put this to charge later, so I'm going to leave it over here so I don't forget. But among them, Lassies refers to the people who are supporters of Lasso. Correístas are the people who are supporters of Rafael Correa. Cuerdas made a mention to like rope. Like it means rope. Cuerda is rope. But when someone is cuerda, it means they're on track. They're paying attention. They're focused. They have like a good mindset. Metió la mano is like when you put your hand in something, but it makes reference more to when you have a problem. Like let's say I saw someone who was stealing something, and I intervened. So yeah, I guess the best way to say is to intervene. You meter la mano. It also means other things in a dirtier context, but we're not going to go into that. And lame botas, that's hilarious. That's when someone, they support something so much that, okay, it's an ass kisser. I don't like using bad vocabulary, but yeah, it's a butt kisser. It's a person who they support it to that level where even if they're doing something wrong, they'll probably still, be like, I'm on your side. So yeah, that's vocabulary, Spanish with ace today. Okay, so Gloria, I traveled to Gualeseo and the taxi driver claims that the vacuna is alive in that region. In Cuenca, there are signs threatening people who want to try and bring in the vacuna. People are tired, for sure. So once again, going into the situation with la vacuna, honestly, in Quito, they already did something in a specific area about it. I remember I saw the news report on TV. Like, I just glanced at it and I saw it and I was like, oh, wow, they're doing something about it. And people, they actually did something about it. Because why wouldn't people be tired? It makes no sense to live with fear like this whole time. I like to believe that I live with caution, but in that caution, there is obviously fear. So it's like I'm worried about going out, like taking the few things that I have. Like even when I go out to record, I'm always like super aware. Like I'm either with someone or I'm recording in a safe space. I didn't share it, I think, on here, or did I? I don't remember if I shared it on here, but I recorded yesterday in the museum. So right now the museum is my safe space to record because I know that the museum is safe. So I'm worried about going out and doing something in a place where something could happen. That's why I'll always be with someone if I'm gonna do something out in public, or I won't do it. Even in Quito, when I recorded my video of the interviews, I was with my cousin. And since she knows Quito, she was very aware of everything that was happening, and we were both paying attention as much as possible. We had the stuff super close, and we were watching each other to make sure everything was okay. But yeah, people are very tired of the situation. But let me finish the whole thing about what I was reading over here. So basically, this person is saying that the lamebotas, the person, the butt kisser of that is Villavicencio, and the resolution in the very last minute. Yeah, so basically the government tried to do something about it with this person at the very last minute. And it's just, people really do not like what happened in the sense that from what I can see here, everyone agrees that Lasso just did this to save his butt. And I get it because you don't want to be the president that goes out with being impeached. It's not cool. He got impeached for something, or he was gonna be impeached for something, but this feels kind of like a last-ditch effort. Yo mama, what's going on? It's so weird sometimes to say that. I'm gonna call you yo. How's it going? All right. So remember, are there any other questions? Oh, BPE, how's it going? And thank you for the donation. Thanks for being you. Thank you for being you, and thank you for helping me out. I don't know if you've been here because I haven't seen any of your comments, but I'm saving up for some new glasses, so all of this goes straight into that. And everyone's gonna see it because I'm gonna post it on Instagram, and I'm also gonna post it in, you're gonna see me wearing them. So of course you're gonna see them. I'm gonna get that process done this weekend. No, not this weekend, because this Friday, because this weekend I'm gonna be working. I don't know if Mark's still here, but Mark knows. We're gonna we got some work to do. But thank you very much, BP. If you have any questions, please ask away. I've been here. We've been talking about this whole situation. I'm ready to answer any questions that you guys have. I don't know what else we can say about the Muerte Cruzada. So if you're here for more information about the Muerte Cruzada, all we can do is give, like, I guess just talk about it, because, like, and just give opinions. Like I said before, my opinion is tomorrow we're gonna see the results, maybe the day after, and I'm kind of worried, worst case scenario, that maybe, even if there's no protest from the CONAIE, there could be protests from the people who aren't happy about what's happening. Like right now, Gloria just said, people are tired. And if people are tired, hopefully they get to the level of tired where they want to do something about it. Not to the level of paro, but to the level of at least like protesting a bit to like say, hey, what are we going to do about the insecurity of the country? The lack of safety. Because I feel more than anything, I personally am tired of having to give this warning. Like, don't go out on the street because it's dangerous. Like, don't pull out your phone. I wish here in Ecuador we could go out and like be on the street, and like if we needed to make a call, we can do it like without fearing that someone's gonna come up and snatch my phone. Like it's always that concern with me, like going out on the street. Like I like the fact, like with Don Shader, he even said like you don't see people all the time like this on the phone on the streets here in Ecuador. But that's mainly a safety issue, because I'm pretty sure if there were safety, people would do it. Yo mama, what is the vacuna? La vacuna. It's the vaccine, but it's not literally a vaccine. It makes I'm going to use this as an example. It's not literally a vaccine. It makes reference to extortion. Hapian or Hapian of Asgard. Sup? How's it going? So basically the vacuna is vaccine, but not a literal vaccine, it's extortion. So if you have a business, if you have a store, if you have some kind of restaurant, some shady guys will come and they'll tell you, hey, you want to keep running your business, you got to pay me $500 a month. And if you don't pay them, then you either die, or they make your business life horrible by going and robbing your business and sending people to like threaten you. It's not good. It's not good. But when you hear someone talking about vacuna and they're not talking about literally the COVID vaccine, it's probably because of this. By the way, I don't know if anyone here heard, but I've been seeing some news that the government in the United States has been talking about how if you got the vaccine, it's your fault if you get sick or if it hurts you. Like, I don't know if that's actually a thing or if it's just media, trying to instill fear or trying to make people paranoid. But I'm not living in the States right now. Over here, I remember the last thing I remember was that for certain jobs, they were asking you to have at least, I think it was 3 vaccines. I only got 2 personally. So yeah. Hapian, or maybe I'll just call you Asgard. How's it going? It's basically slang for extortion. Like if you have the vaccine, like Yo says, it's the cure. You don't get robbed. So if you have the vaccine, you're safe. Mark, Ace, they're not buried in their phones in the wonderful, sleepy little pueblo I'm staying in either. That's good. I honestly think that having like people being on their phone all the time to me it feels really disrespectful. Like when I go out with friends and like, stuff like that, and everyone is just on their phones, like I don't say anything because you're free to do whatever you want. But it feels really disrespectful if you're hanging out with your friends, with anyone, and you're just on your phone the whole time. Like why are you out here then? Like why are we hanging out if you have to be on your phone? Like if I'm boring, then tell me I'm boring and let's just stop and everyone just go home. Like it just doesn't make sense. If you're going out and hanging out with your friends, it's because you want to talk to them. If you wanted to stay at home chatting on your phone, then stay at home. It's weird. It's something that I've seen a lot here, and unfortunately, I can only say I've seen it here because when I was in the States, smartphones weren't the biggest thing yet. Little by little, of course, they have gotten bigger in all parts of the world. Obviously, the States more than anything, but here it just is always felt super disrespectful for people to when we're here having a conversation, like they're on their phone, and it makes me sad. Like if I'm like I haven't been on a date, and don't even worry about that, but like in a long time. But it's like if I were to go out with someone and they're on their phone, like I don't even know why I would be going out with that person. Like if we're hanging out, it's because we want to hang out, not because I'm there to watch them be on their phone. Asgard, in the US, we have a lot of virtue signaling and gaslighting right now. That's why people say dumb things like it's your fault if you get hurt from this or that. Ah, okay. I get it. So it's not a thing yet. So basically, it's okay if you get the vaccines and people aren't like making a big deal out of it. I'm just not sure because over here there was a time where they were trying to force people who had jobs in like public positions to get the third vaccine, I think, and every vaccine that came after it. But right now it's like if you have, as long as you have 2 vaccines, I think you're good. I didn't get more because I was worried about getting continuous vaccines. It shouldn't be a bad thing, but I've always thought that the speed that the vaccine was made was kind of sus. That doesn't mean it's bad. It's just my personal worries. But I can't confirm whether it's good or bad. So if you got your vaccine, as long as you're okay, I hope you're good. Mark, I love it. Actually, people actually engaged with other people and not continually distracted. Mark, man, you got to take me where you're at because it sounds like you're in a society with people who are more like social. Over here, when it's social, like after a while, it just becomes people on the phone. I feel like I want to have like a hangout with friends, and like we have like we get a basket or maybe a box, and it's like phone in there. Until the meeting is over, you can't use your phone. Like I think that would be really cool in order to avoid people like just constantly on their phones while you're in the middle of a meeting, a reunion. Did it become a cultural thing in Ecuador though? What do you mean, Asgard? The vaccine. Like, if you mean the vaccine, if it became cultural, it just became a work thing. Like, if you have the vaccine, if you didn't have the vaccine, you needed to be vaccinated to work. That happened, I think, everywhere. And you needed a minimum of 2 vaccines at first. But then after it seemed like the vaccine kept coming, like, kept being there, like you had to have the 3rd vaccination shot and the 4th one if you're in a job, like if you're in a public position. People pushing other people to do. No, like if you have no one talks about COVID anymore. Like if people talk about COVID, it's just to laugh about it. El covicho, as they call it. I'm going to write it in the chat. Covicho. And by the way, Fluffy, hello. The indigenous leaders just announced they will not hold a demonstration. They will focus on getting more seats in assembly in the upcoming election. All is going to be fine. Yes, Fluffy. I actually talked about that a little while ago because I had seen this tweet that basically they're not going to hold the paros, but they do want the impeachment or the trial with the president to continue. But that can't happen if there's no Congress. So I don't know what's going to happen from here on out. So Mark Moran, we actually ended up going from buenas tardes to buenas noches. Yes, we did. So buenas noches, everyone. Happy face. Um, Daniel, I have never been glued to my phone. I usually don't even carry it about 20% of the time, mainly for emergency. That's cool. To me, my phone is like my second arm. Um, my third arm, I mean, second. I have two already, but my third arm. It's a necessity for me because I record my videos on my phone. I stay up to date with emails, with sending stuff because the laptop that I have, I've mentioned it before, it's kind of eh. So it's not something, and besides, I can't even take it out of my house because of safety issues. It's not mine, it's the family laptop. So I leave it here. I use my phone. Crooks Hideaway. Hello, how's it going? Hello from Ecuador, Puerto Viejo. So basically, for me, it's I need my phone. I need it for as many things as possible, and I use it for almost everything. So it's really good. Hapian. So I missed the beginning of this. Do you believe this is a dictatorial move from the president, Ace? I honestly don't think the president has enough. How would you say this? I don't think he's smart enough to have done this with a dictatorial like incentive. This is more like not even the intelligence. I think he's a smart guy. I just think he's not the kind of person who was thinking about becoming a dictator. He just doesn't want to look bad by being impeached. The character, oh yeah, pretty much like that. I just think he doesn't want to be impeached. I think what people are saying about him using this as a last-ditch effort to save himself might be the case. It could also just be that he's just being petty, like he didn't want to be impeached, so if he goes, everyone goes. That's what La Muerte Cruzada is. He's taking everyone with him, so, you know. BPE is asking Mark where he's at. So Mark, if you want to answer that, it's up to you. Let's see. Crooks Hideaway, friend of Don's. Any friend of Don's is a friend of mine. Good to have you here. I hope you're doing well. Asgard, lol, embrace transhumanism, become one with your phone. I will fuse with my phone. I don't know if that's possible. This is about as best I can do. But I do need it a lot for a lot of things that I do here. Aaron, I miss the good old days when your phone gave you a headache after 5 minutes and only free after 7 p.m. I honestly don't want to get headaches from phones. It's bad enough getting a headache from this glass. It almost feels like a migraine when I get a headache from using these for too long. But that's why whenever I just feel that bad, I just take it easy until I feel better. So he's not going to become the next Chavez? I don't think so. Robert Stewart, how's it going? Part of me agrees with you with the whole headache thing with the phone, I'm guessing. Makes sense. Crooks Hideaway, do you think the political situation will stop expats from coming to Ecuador or investing in it? I think investments are going to be a little bit more questionable, but coming to Ecuador, like I said earlier in this video, I think that a lot of people aren't looking at Ecuador and thinking about the political crisis right now when they think about their visit to Ecuador. People are more concerned about, is it safe? Is it cheap? What should I do? A lot of the comments, a lot of the things are more based about that. Like, how much do I need to budget for like a week or 2 weeks in Ecuador? What do I need to know? That's why my video, my 22 tips video is doing really well. It has over 34,000 views because a lot of people they want to know what they need for Ecuador. The concern about whether they should come or not, I think, once again, let's wait these next 2 days, 1 day, 2 days, and then we'll assume that if people are still saying, if they're saying, oh no, if things get dangerous, that's when we're gonna see if it's really gonna be bad for people to come. By the way, we're almost at 30 likes, so if you have not liked this video or if you have not subscribed, I would implore you to do so. I would appreciate it as well. Like the video, subscribe. Help me get my goal. I'm going to tell you something about this in a second, but help me reach my goals, guys. I appreciate your support. So, let me see here. Yo Mama said, have you ever used ChatGPT for your videos? I actually have not used it yet, but I have been planning on using it. Every time I want to use it, I just have another video that I have to make. Right now, I have the video of what I learned in Quito, what I learned from my trip to Quito. And that video, I have to finish editing it. And it's probably going to be uploaded sometime next week or in this weekend, or yeah, probably next week, because I still have to edit the heck out of it. So yeah, I am planning on making a video using ChatGPT. I've just been trying to see which option is better, so I'm analyzing the analytics, I'm checking the analytics, and seeing what people are looking for the most when it comes to ChatGPT content. Because with a video like that, I feel like it's both ChatGPT combined with Ecuador. What interests people about ChatGPT and what interests people about Ecuador? Like, how do I fuse the two ideas? Howdy B, I'm in Manglarato. Raul, in a way, I'm glad with the decision that the president took. Like I said, everyone is going to have their opinion on it. For me, the best part of the decision is the fact that now people get to choose their president again. And if they really hate Lasso, if they don't like him, here's your chance. You can have a different person. No more Lasso. It can be someone else, not Ace, because I'm not ready for that. But it can be someone else. And I just hope that the next person is great. Hi Mark, thanks. Taking map out. BP, always on the dot with the investigation. I love it. I love how prepared BP is, because BP is always asking questions, and that's always a good thing. If you have doubts as a teacher, this is something that we always talk about. If you have a doubt, ask, because if you don't ask, then you never learn. You never know. Crooks Hideaway, we are coming back to Manta the end of October, and I'm still looking forward to it. Let's go! Can't wait for you to come back to Manta. At the end of October, so that means you're coming for if I remember, end of October is the Flag Day. Also Halloween, of course, but I think it's Flag Day. Hapian, what's the typical cost savings you'll get from buying fruit in a small mercados versus buying it in the grocery stores in Ecuador? I would say, I can't be, I'm not 100% sure, but a lot of people, they do like, if you buy like fruits at the store instead of the mercado, they look at you like, what, are you crazy? So I assume that the savings are big, but not substantial enough for, if you're coming from a different country, for you to say, oh, it's worth going to the mercado for this. I would say it's cents. Anywhere between 20 to 50 cents, in my opinion. It's not like a substantial saving, but for some people, 20 to 50 cents here is a lot. I mean, 50 cents is 1/4 of an encebollado, so, you know. I can't be 100% sure about that, by the way. I'm going to do a comparison of mercado and store-bought food eventually. I just haven't had the time for it, and so many videos I have to do. Mark, the 22 tips video was super helpful. My wife and I will be there for 2 months in July and August, and it gave us a lot of good information. Thanks for that. Mark, not a problem. I'm glad it helped. That video has been really good for getting my channel noticed and giving more help to more people, so I'm really happy that it helps. Mark Horning, I paid 40 centavos for 2 bananas and 2 oranges a couple of days ago. So basically, almost like 10 cents per fruit. That's really good. 20 to 50 cents per kilogram. I can't remember what exactly would be the amount of fruit that you get, like what the conversion is. Like, I do know that they weigh it. I just don't remember how much it is. Once again, I would have to make a video about that. Maybe I'll do like buying 5 bananas at the mercado, buying 5 bananas in a supermarket, and buying 5 oranges in each place, and doing the comparison. Ace for president, please no. No, you guys, don't doom me to this. Then everyone's gonna hate me too. I feel like being president right now is just like putting yourself in a world of hurt. Um, Are cryptocurrencies a thing in Ecuador? Excellent question, Aaron. I actually have a Binance account because me and my friend, we tried to understand crypto. He had more time and he's a lot better with computers and he actually has a good computer. So he actually did make some money from it. But like here, like if you go out to a store, no one's gonna accept crypto. Crypto is not a thing for like, buying stuff here. If you go to a very specific group of people, like maybe like people who know about it, like you could probably offer them crypto for a service or a thing. But in any store, I mean, some stores it's hard to find like to have them use credit cards. Imagine crypto. So it's a thing that people know about, but here it's mainly always linked to the fact that it might be a scam or it's just, it's just something that exists in the world, but people don't use here yet. Cryptocurrencies exist all around the world. You can use them as long as you have an internet connection. Of course, but like I said, most people here won't accept your crypto. If like I said, if they're very well versed with the internet, then maybe. But like most people just see crypto as either a scam or it exists. Crooks Hideaway. If you are in Manta end of October or November, please let us know. We will be staying next door to the. Oh, that's really cool. I can I can organize to go during that time so we can maybe hang with Don. I still have to make more videos with Don anyway, so keep that in mind. Yo mama, why do they ask you for your cedula when you want to buy something? Depends on what you want to buy. They don't normally ask you for your. No, wait, they do. Yeah, okay, yeah. They ask you for your cedula when you want to get your factura. It's for the tax return, because if you earn a lot of money here in Ecuador, like I think over $10,000, you pay your taxes. Like your money is not returnable. So basically, with the when you give your cedula, you're saying that my money is being spent on this. So so if your money is being spent, and like you have a registry of the things you're spending it on, you have the chance to get your money back. But once again, this is mainly for people who are earning like over $10,000. I don't remember if that's a year or if I don't think it's a month. There's a certain threshold you have to pass for that to even make sense. So most of the time you can just say consumidor final or just say final. I'm gonna write consumidor final or just final. And if you ask for that, they'll just give you the receipt and you don't even have to like give them your cedula. The cedula is only a thing if you make enough money for it to like justify your earnings. Okay, keep it going. The mercado is definitely slightly more than a little tienda, and there is no supermercado within an hour or two drive. Yeah, in some cities the mercados aren't a big thing. Over here in Puerto Viejo, we recently got like the biggest mercado in all of Ecuador, I think. Although I think recently they made one or are gonna make one in Calderon, which is either bigger or the same size as Puerto Viejo's. BPE, Mark Horning, I paid $1.99 avocado, $6.99 pineapple. Oh, came to just under what? I'm guessing you mean in the States, because over here, an avocado at $1.99, holy, what does it come with? Music. But most avocados here are like $1, like if they're not in season. When they're in season and they're everywhere, they cost like 50 cents each. Get a crypto wallet for donations, Ace. That would be awesome, Aaron. But I don't know how many people use crypto, and I'm also not always like, I don't always assume anyone's gonna donate anything. Like if you do, like I appreciate it. Like you have no idea. Like when people donate to buy me a coffee, that's like the money that I'm saving to make a video, and the money that one day I'm just gonna use to be able to like make this my job. Like when this is my job, like I can just keep making videos, pumping out videos and making more content and making more fun things. But like I'm never expecting it. Like if someone donates, like I'm like, you guys are the best, because literally like you don't have to, but if you do, I love you guys for it. Um, let's see here. Recently, Ecuadorian pitahayas exports increased by 60%. Also for Mother's Day, Ecuador became the second global exporter to the USA. Yeah, I did see something about that, about the pitahayas. I'm not a fan of the pitahaya, but I do know it's a good fruit. Um, let's see here. What else do we have? The issue of being a resident of Ecuador is the tax reporting requirements for the SRI, the SRI, like the patrimonio, which is required to file in Ecuador if you have $226,000 in assets worldwide. Since I don't have the patrimonio, like honestly, I wouldn't know, but it's good information to know, and thank you, Gloria, for that information. I'm actually going to take a picture of it because it's really good to know. One day I will make I do have to make more videos about these more complicated things with the IRS, the SRE. I just don't focus on them because I try to make the videos in order of what has come to me. God, there's so much things to talk about. Mark, my God, B, I'm paying $2.30 a pound ground beef and $1.3 pounds of chicken. Literally 1/4 if a chicken cost me $1.50. It's cheap. I keep saying it all the time, but food in Ecuador is very cheap. Ecuador has incredibly low property taxes for your home. It's something like 1/20th of percent. Definitely, when it comes to property, it's much cheaper in the States. That's without a doubt. GMAs, we all wait for your video of your dad's cafe. I want to make it, but right now the situation is bad. You made it a little bit late, BP, I think. I don't know if you heard the rest of the stream, but right now my dad's business, like, we haven't had a lot of business there. Like my dad, today he talked to me. He told us it's not selling well because people aren't going out to eat. People are afraid of the crime. So this month, my dad says it's gonna be hard to pay for the electric bill. So he's like seeing what he can do, hoping that maybe more people come into the business. We're trying to see because the situation is tough, and I'm trying to see how I can help as well. Since I've been getting more jobs, like right now I have this job on Friday giving classes. I might be giving Spanish classes. I might be giving, I'm gonna do tours and stuff. I do translations, in person. No documents, please, because that's always tough. And those are the things that I'm trying to do in order to make the situation a little bit better, so I can help a little bit more here in the house, because my dad needs the help, and I don't want him to have a hard time. But anyways, moving on. Hold up, the camera's poorly positioned. Hello. Mark, I wish it was that cheap here for ground beef. I pay $7.99 a pound. Ooh, man. Blick Lingo. Hello, Blick Lingo. It's been a long time that since I've seen you message in the chat. I hope you're okay. If you get a Monero wallet, I will definitely donate. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get one of those. I only have a Binance wallet, and honestly, I don't use it because the whole crypto thing doesn't do much for me here. And getting the money out is just kind of a process. Even getting the money out of like the donation sites is kind of a pain, but I'd rather that than messing with crypto with how volatile it is. Happy so at the small mercados, maybe an avocado would be like 20 cents. I'd say around 25 to 30, maximum 50 when it's in season. When it's not in season, it can go up to $1, even in mercados. The thing depends on the quality of the mercado, of the avocado. Big avocado, more expensive. Small avocado, cheaper. And most of the time, when it's not in season, even the small avocados are expensive. And you're like, why would I pay for that? BP, Ace, have Don explain cédula. Maybe. I can, like, cédula is just your ID. But Don would definitely be better for explaining the situation with the IRS and how the whole tax return situation works. Mark, I haven't bought an avocado yet, but they are sold everywhere. Maybe tomorrow. Yeah, give it a shot. Mark, have to take off. Have a good rest of your stream, Ace. Hasta próxima. Mark Moran, take care, te cuidas y nos vemos. Te cuidas, take care. Oh, bueno, you take care. And nos vemos is I will see you. Nos vemos. I will see you. It's like I will see you later, but it's super shortened, so it's really cool. The crime is that bad in your town, Ace? Hard to say how bad it is because it depends on where you are and what you've been through. Like I've mentioned it before on this channel, I have a friend who's been robbed 3 times in less than a year. I know people who have never been robbed because they've been very cautious. Petty crime is a thing that even on the most, like on the safest streets, I've seen people get robbed. The other day, I heard about this kind of gruesome thing. I think it was somewhere around Floron, like a dangerous zone. But someone was killed in a sicariato, the whole assassination thing that I talked about earlier. And when they were killed, someone, when they had the funeral, you know, they went, you know, to go pay their respects. Apparently someone came by in a car, like, you know, once again, sicariatos, the criminals, and they shot up and they threw a grenade in the place. And I'm like, how do these people get grenades? Like, I find it crazy that they can find guns, but like grenades? Nah, man. Yo, mama, your comment is probably the best one. It doesn't matter how prepared you are. It's just a matter of chance. Sometimes it's just a matter of time because you never know. Like your zone might be very safe today, but tomorrow it could just get so much worse. Mark, Don may already have a video on cédula, most likely. BPE, maybe your dad do cooking class, your favorite. I still have to do that. I want to do a class, like a video, with the food guatita. Let me write it in the chat. Basically, it's cow stomach. Guatita. It's really good, though. In Mexico, I think they say hasta luego. Yeah, you can also say hasta luego here. A few different ways to say bye. Hasta luego. Hasta la próxima. Nos vemos. Or just ciao. Those are the typical byes. So yeah, honestly, it's just a matter of chance and time sometimes. It's interesting how they say these phrases differently in different Spanish-speaking countries, for sure. Aaron sounds gangy. It does. I'm pretty sure that whoever passed away and whatever that situation was with the assassination attempt, they probably had some kind of, you know, crime that happened. Dad can make an Amazon sellable cookbook. That would be really cool. My dad, he learned from his mother, my grandma, which I never got to meet like at this age. She saw me when I was a baby. May she rest in peace. But she taught him, and his cooking is great. So I would love it if my dad did something like that. Maybe I can ask him to think about it. Maybe to give it a shot. Hola, hello. Free beer and hot dogs. I'm just gonna say free beer. How's it going? Hola. I'm gonna ask my dad. Actually, I'm gonna take a picture of that so I can ask him later. Amazon sellable cookbook. I'm wondering if he would be down for that, to take the time to like write recipes. How many like recipes would you want like in a cookbook is my question. Because I'm wondering how many my dad would be able to make. 20 to 40. Let me ask. My dad might be able to do it. Knowing him, he's very creative with the food. He's always been really good at like barbecues and stuff. I remember in the States, he would always be the one who did the barbecues whenever we had like a party or a meeting. And he would even be hired. Like over here, since his restaurant is like almost like, not barbecue style, but he has the grill. So people sometimes have asked him to be the person who like does the barbecues here in the city, like with some people that have a party and be like, hey, can we hire you for that? So it's been cool. He could write one with all the recipes in his cafe. It wouldn't be a lot, I think. And I don't know if he'd want to give away his secrets for his shish kebabs. Free beer. What is the outcome with this decision from the government? Honestly, the outcome so far hasn't been seen in a I guess you would say in a big sense. Like there's fear, there's worry, concerns that there's going to be more instability. There's going to be more danger. That we're going to have a president that's just as bad as this one, even if Lasso isn't elected or someone in Lasso's line isn't elected. There's a lot of fear of how many things could happen, but there's no guarantees yet. The Ecuador cookout. I don't know how to say encebollado, your favorite. Oh man, I would love it if my dad knew how to make encebollado. He could probably like make his version of it, but I know he's said before he doesn't make encebollado. He does make ceviche though, so maybe he can make a recipe for ceviche. Oh, that would be really cool actually. That's a good one. So yeah, I don't know if there are any other questions. Does anyone want to ask anything else about the whole situation or about anything in general so we can talk about it? If not, we can end today's stream there and we can obviously talk some other time. This weekend, I hear I'm getting the best in Ecuador. Mark, of course you are. It's Puerto Viejo's encebollado. You're gonna have the best. ¿Dónde está el restaurante de tu padre? My dad's restaurant is, let me write it in the chat, in Puerto Viejo City, on the Avenida Manabí y Tenis Club sobre la Avenida Manabí. This is the specific location of my dad's restaurant. So if you ever want to visit, go ahead and tell them you're here for Ace. And I might actually be able to go downstairs and talk if you're ever here. He sells shish kebabs, burgers, sandwiches, and salads. Is it viewable on Google Maps? No, because I wanted to do the whole, my best friend who has a cell phone business, he got his business on the map, but he said they had to send him something. But when he did that, Ecuador still had the postal system. But now Ecuador doesn't have the postal system. So we don't have a post office anymore. We can't send mail or get mail. So it's like, okay, now what? So now I don't know if my dad could get his business on the map is my question. I'll try it out because I do want it to be on the map. But if you want to find it, I think you should look for Plaza del Sol Puerto Viejo. Free beer. Next time we come to Manta, we will stop in. Please make sure to come by Puerto Viejo. Definitely. How would it be? I really want everyone to try my dad's food, of course, and I want you all to like try the encebollado in Puerto Viejo. Remember, encebollado is number 25, 26, place number 25 or 26 in tasteatlas.com, in the top soups in the world. So you got to give it a try. I believe so, Ace. This weekend we'll work on it. Definitely. We have things to do this weekend, Mark. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be fun, too, I hope. Oh, yeah, Mark, by the way, is the chocolate, like, I was wondering about the chocolate. Did it melt? Because I was kind of concerned about the heat, and, like, most of the times, anything that you take on a trip here, it melts. So I was hoping that maybe if it didn't melt, good. If it melted, then, you know, it's still okay. Just keep it fresh, please. I love this water with lemon and salt. So let me see. I was thinking of making one more poll. Well, a poll. Lol, good question. Check it out. Please don't let it die. Let's see here. Oh, I can actually start a Q&A. I don't know what I would do with that. Yes, it's refrigerated. Excellent. Excelente. I did want to ask, what was it that I wanted to ask specifically? Ah, yes. Would you like updates in the community tab about the Muerte Cruzada? Yes or no? Basically, if there's any information about like that I see on the news or that people talk about, maybe any posts about the Muerte Cruzada, I can make community posts about it. So if you're interested in that, please let me know. Hoping it survives the bus. Oh my goodness, please. Anything like coming to, oh man, and even then afterwards making it back to Puerto Viejo, that's gonna be the complicated part. Maybe I'll see if I can get the cooler that we have over here and bring that and just put like a whole bunch of ice in it. Although right now here in my property, like not my property, my grandma's property, we have the cistern and it's empty because it's being fixed and we don't have water until this weekend. So it's like, it's so frustrating. Not having water is terrible. I literally have to use a bucket for anything that I need. It's bad. It's not a common thing, by the way, but if you have a cistern, la cisterna, you will have to be prepared for the possibility that it needs maintenance. It feels like it's only been like 3 years since the last time it had maintenance, which does seem like a lot, but it isn't. I feel like it should never break. But that might just be me. Let's see here. So far we have everyone yes. Thank goodness. So I can make the posts about La Muerte Cruzada. If I see anything, if there's anything crazy that happens, I will try to write it about it. So I'll try to do it. South American, hello Ace. What's your name? Well, I mean, I go by Ace. You can just call me that. Officially, if you notice, my channel name is GM Ace. That has something to do with my name. I might give spoilers. If you check my Instagram, you'll see my last name. That's for sure. But anyways, it's not really that much of a secret. But I want to save it for a little bit later. Is your dad's place near I'm guessing you mean Bocata with the T, Bocata? And in that case, yes. Yes, it is. It is close to Bocata. I was gonna say, I know it. Won't you? Mark. For now, no. For now, it's a top secret. But later on, I will tell everyone. And I might sometimes I think I've said it before in previous live streams. I just don't remember. I might have even said it in Don Shader's interview when he interviewed me, but it's more like something that I want to save for like a big video. I also, man, I think I'm gonna ask it here too after this poll finishes. I'll wait like another minute, but I was gonna ask if I should cut my hair because everyone keeps telling me to cut my hair, but like because it's really to me it's really hot, like it is hot outside, and I'm like I don't know if I need my long hair, so I've been like contemplating it. And I made a poll on Instagram the other day, and the majority were like, yes. And I'm like, no, my hair. Um, but I don't know. I'll make a poll about it here in a second, and we'll see what everyone says. Aaron, sell the info. LOL. No. Selling info for I don't know how much. It's not that top secret. It's just something I don't want to say right now. It's like I want to save it for a different like video. My plan was to cut my hair after I reached 10,000 subscribers. But now my plan might be if I reach 5,000. But the thing is, I don't know when that's going to happen. And I am burning here in Ecuador. South American, no worries. It's best to keep things private. I like your long hair. Many guys have less or thin hair. Thank you very much, South American. Also, thank you, Blicklingo. Don't cut your hair. Mark, no. I can see the general consensus is no, do not cut it. Aaron, don't say it. I like your hair long, if okay with you. I'm fine with it. I'm just starting to get tired of it being hot. It's like, I'm burning. Let's see here. Hey, go see Dawn swim in the ocean. I would love to. Robert Ashley, cut your hair? No. Like Daniel in the biblical, your maximum bench press will fall into the toilet. Oh no, my bench press. Aaron, when I get to Ecuador, I'll cut your hair for free for life. I appreciate it, man. That would help me out. If I like, of course, if everyone thinks I should cut my hair, because apparently everyone says no. Let me show you what my hair looked like when it was shorter. Maybe it'll give you a better opinion. I actually posted a picture on Instagram the other day, like the picture comparing my long hair and my short hair. Your activity, no. I want to go to archive. There it is. So there's the two pictures. Will it advance? I don't know. So yeah, basically me with short hair versus me with long hair. And there's a friend also. But yeah. Right now with long hair, it's actually lower than, like it actually reaches my shoulders now, I think. But with short hair, I had it like up to there. And I've had it like, there's other pictures, of course. I could probably look in Instagram and find other pictures where I had short hair. But I like my long hair just because it's what I used to have when I was in the States. When I came here to Ecuador, this is an interesting story. When I came here to Ecuador, I was forced to cut my hair by the school because I came here and I studied my last year of high school here. And I was forced to cut it because they didn't allow boys to have long hair. Yes, that was a thing. So I had to cut it and I was mad. I was really mad about it. I'm not gonna lie, I was really mad about it. I acted like I wasn't, but like at school, but after that I was mad about it. And then I've just had it short most of the time because of work, because of life. And then recently, during the pandemic, I gave myself the chance to grow it out again. And now I've gotten it this long. So I'm kind of wondering if I should keep it, or I don't know if I can donate it, like for kids who like have cancer or stuff. Like, I don't know if it's donatable. I don't know how long it has to be for that to happen. But, you know. Daniel, personally, it's up to you. I think your hair looked good in earlier videos. Appreciate it. Daniel, man, those earlier videos were bad, though. In comparison to my new ones, they're bad. Do you know anyone from Nicaragua, Ace? What's the cost of living there compared to Ecuador, do you think? Honestly, I don't. I would be lying to you if I said I did. So I can't give an opinion, and I don't want to estimate. I just know that in general, when we talk about South America, it's all good until you reach Brazil and Argentina. I think more than anything, Argentina is looking really bad because of how bad their inflation is. But I don't know exactly how well everyone else is doing. Okay, so I'm gonna end the poll I'm gonna end it now because I want to do the other poll. Okay, so that means I can make the post about the Muerte Cruzada. BPE, ACE, 12 inches length cut to donate for wig, kids or adult. Okay, so I need to reach, I don't think I have that right now. I'd be surprised if I did. Because I see when people donate hair, it has to be very, very long. Yeah, haircuts, ooh, $4. That to me looks expensive. The person who cuts my hair here, well, who used to when I cut it more often, they charge $3. It depends on the city. Start a poll. Should I cut my hair now or wait until 5K subs? Subscribers. Did I write that right? I don't know because my eyesight's bad. Now, 5K, let's go. Ask. Okay, the new poll about my haircut, my incoming haircut. Because I had been planning on doing it at around 5 to 10K subscribers. More than anything, I wanted to wait until 10K subscribers to show the community, like, hey, we're a big community now. It would be crazy. Ace is a spy, got to have a secret agent name, GM Ace. Oh, by the way, this is like a way that people take photos here now. I don't do it very often, but I think it's funny to do it. Victor Tirado, try $25 and up in New York City. Oh my, yeah, I remember in the States it was expensive. Man, it's just crazy how different things are in different countries. Remember everyone, the fate of my hair lies in your hands. Please leave your vote. Man, $25. That's the reality that I've forgotten in the States, how expensive a haircut is. Whenever I remember how expensive it is to go out and eat, like I think when you go out and eat for like a normal meal, like it costs like $10 a dish or more. Like over here, you get dishes at like $2, $2.50, $3, $3.50. Like $5 is already borderline expensive. This weekend, I'm going to be selling tongas. Tonga is like a dish with rice, chicken, and like it has peanut butter, but it's really good. And that costs $3. It's crazy. Mark, I paid $20 in Denver a couple weeks ago without the tip. It's crazy how expensive haircuts can be in the States, but it's just the difference in the economy. Like over here, if everyone, the base salary, everyone, like the minimum wage, if everyone were earning like $1,000, I think everything would go up in price. Everything. Aaron, lol, I charge $30 minimum. Well done, Aaron. You got to make your money. Make that moolah. South American. But remember, don't let making money go over your values. Your values always come first. South American. In Los Angeles, it's $30 and up, depending the place without tip. I cut my own hair, lol. Sometimes it's a necessity. You just grab the knife and shwa. I actually thought it would be pretty funny, like in a video, like I just do it Rambo style and just slice off my hair, and in the process apparently slice off my ear because I don't know how to cut. Hapien Vasgard, NYC has become almost unlivable by how expensive things have become. If you're making less than $110,000 a year, when, yeah, here, forget about it. Yeah, I've heard that even rent for like a small room is terribly expensive. BP, have to run, night all, thanks Ace, you're a gem. BP, you're the gem. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your support. I hope you enjoyed the stream. And everyone else, I hope you enjoyed the stream. If you have, please hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. We do these live streams now monthly. We have to, because that's what I promised. I will also be communicating different things through community posts. I have videos that I still have to make. The next video will hopefully be out in the next 5 days. I can't guarantee exactly when, but the next 5 days is my hope. If you want to become a member in YouTube or in Buy Me a Coffee, I would really appreciate it. If you're a member on YouTube, you get the logo from my channel next to your name. I don't know if that's a big incentive for anyone, but the membership only costs like $2, I think, a month, and it helps me out. You get access to a community tab where exclusive. And really the only thing that I post on a community tab is extra things like personal stuff. Like maybe I'll talk about how my situation has been. On Buy Me a Coffee and on YouTube, I give updates every month. Like maybe I'll tell you what's been happening in my life. I'll tell you how the process of making my videos has been. If there's a big plan, I'll announce it in those places first, in the community tabs for members, because it's just an incentive. So there's no obligation, of course, but I would really appreciate it. And I've always wanted someone to be able to have the little logo next to their name. So I think that would be really cool too. If you're interested, of course, if you want to become a member here. If you're a member on Buy Me a Coffee, once again, I appreciate that. And if you want to become a member, then that's great too. It's totally your choice. Daniel, welcome aboard. Thanks for becoming a member. Like I said, you didn't have to, but I appreciate it. And yes, finally someone has the logo next to their name. And I think you can change it after a certain amount of time. Welcome to membership, Daniel. I almost forgot that you also get priority reply to comments. So if there's ever a comment that you make, I will be, as soon as I see it, like if my phone pings and I see a notification for a comment from a member, like I'm there, I'm on it. But also the community tab. Oh, and shout outs here, obviously in live streams, for sure, for all members. Hey, I've been trying to find more ways to give more value. I just don't know. I've never done this before, of course, so this is like an experience for me as well, learning experience. So if there's ever anything you feel that I can give more value with tiers of membership maybe, just let me know. And I'd be glad to, because you guys are helping me out, and I only want to keep helping you out. Like every video I make is for you guys. It's not for me, because I make them and I watch my videos like 100 times, because when I'm editing, I have to watch it again, watch it again, watch it again. So it's like, I've already seen my videos, and you guys are the ones who need it for like, to get more value, to understand more about Ecuador, and I'm glad to help. Also, please give me suggestions on what kind of videos you'd like to see, because sometimes I get dry on ideas, and I would love to know what you guys want to know. Oh, Mark Horning, welcome to the fans. I appreciate your support. And now you have the logo too. I'm really hoping that, I don't remember if you can change the logo after 1 month or if you can change it now. Also, you can use the emojis. You can use these emojis that I made. They're basically, hold up, let me post them here, 2, 3, 4. I made them like, I know they're not like super creative, but it's like the two places that I've been to are the United States and Ecuador. So I made these like black and white versions of the logos, and I thought they were really cool because they're like little stamps. And I was planning on, if I ever made like another hat or like a shirt, like maybe have like a big stamp of the places I've been to. And one of my future plans is to go to Switzerland. I want to go to Japan, and maybe one day I'll have like those stamps on my channel, because I'll make content about that too. Maybe one day. It's a dream, and I hope that one day I can make it come true. But once again, Daniel, Mark, welcome to the team. Welcome to membership. I'm glad you guys are here, and I appreciate your support. Please let me know how I can give you guys more value. As members, you guys just tell me. Anyone who's here, please, if there's anything you'd like to know about, let me know. Hapian, I've been to Ecuador, Panama, and Colombia, and Panama was by far the most expensive. Almost as expensive as the US. I think that's because of the canal. I think they have like the port and stuff like that. I've heard that things can be expensive for reasons like that, which I find weird also, but not sure. Hapian, I love the portion sizes of Ecuador too. Like in Colombia, it's a little cheaper per meal, but the portion sizes are like 40% less. I have heard that the portion sizes in the United States have become very, very big. Like the food that people like consume, like I've heard that in Japan they have like the drink, like a cola, which is like a large, is like a small in the United States. And in the United States, a small is huge. Like I don't know if it's the size of this or more, but I heard it's crazy big. I've had great portion sizes so far ever. Excellent, Mark. I'm glad that the food's treating you well here. I just hope that when you come here to Puerto Viejo, that you love the food that you taste here too. The encebollado is gonna be great. I'm actually thinking if maybe we can do like a first reaction to encebollado video. I think that would be really cool. Everywhere I've been, all right. I don't know why. Maybe when I was a kid, I just felt like the food in the States was so good. Now I'm like seeing the news, I'm seeing videos, and I'm just like, isn't it a little bit too much? Hapian, have you been to Colombia? No. I just know that a lot of people here go to Colombia to get stuff for cheaper. And I'm not sure how I feel about that because a part of a thriving economy is spending your money in the economy you're in. If you take your money and you spend it somewhere else, then you're helping that economy and not this economy. So it's like, I haven't been to Colombia, but I know that people go to spend their money there. People also go to spend their money in the United States from here, especially for tech. Tech is too expensive here in Ecuador, so people will almost most of the time go buy stuff in the United States. Food in the USA is almost all GMO. Portion sizes for one can actually feed two. I can imagine. Based on what I've seen from videos and pictures of the food, it looks really crazy, like big, the amount of food that you're eating. I've only been to Medellin and only for 5 days, so maybe I just didn't see enough places, but from where I did go, portion sizes were small for meals for less than $3. I mean, here, if you eat something like let's say a bolon, which is really good, like plantain in ball form with chicharron, which is like pork rinds or with cheese, and that can cost from like $2 to $3, and it's just like this. But because of the plantain, it fills you up really fast, and it's good. The portions are large, and so are the prices. Yeah, for dishes in the States, I've seen $10, $15, $20, depending on, of course, what dish you're eating. Daniel, genetically modified organism. Yeah, I've investigated a lot about GMOs because when it comes to my diet, my health, like I try to eat foods that are low in sugar or they actually have no sugar most of the time. Sometimes if I want to eat a chocolate, I'll give myself the pleasure of doing so, but I try not to. I don't eat corn because I've heard it's really highly genetically modified. And of course, I avoid processed foods as much as I can. So that's how I try to take care of myself to stay healthy and strong. BPE, U.S. State Department posted travel warning for Colombia and Jamaica today. I mean, I kind of thought Colombia was already dangerous. I couldn't confirm because I'm not there. I know Ecuador already has a safety warning because my Swiss friends said that exchange students can't come over here anymore unless I think they're in a specific city. But other cities are too dangerous to come, and Ecuador is listed as dangerous. but unfortunate for Jamaica and Colombia to have been added there. Hoppy in Colombia is not as dangerous as the US government says, but it does have its risks. I think every country comes with some risks. You gotta have your wits about you everywhere. Trust me. I had my first bolón de verde con chicharrón y queso. It was the size of a large baked potato. Was it good? Bolón is always good. I like the chicharrón one. Luis, do you know a good place to eat cow udder in Puerto Viejo? I don't eat cow udder, but I know that if I remember correctly, a lot of barbecue places sell it. I recommend, because it's one of the best places in Puerto Viejo, you go to El Costillar. El Costillar is really good, in general, for any barbecue food. Mark Horning, excellent. I'm glad that it was good. I would love for you, look, we're gonna probably go to La Cafeteria Jean-Pierre, which is a cultural heritage here in Puerto Viejo. I actually made a video and I talked about the cultural heritages here in Puerto Viejo. It's mainly food related, but yeah, Cafeteria Jean-Pierre, super nice. Love the crunch of the chicharrón. It's so good, man. I'm a fan. Thanks. Not a problem, Louis. Why are some cities in Ecuador considered dangerous now? Why is the crime high in Ecuador? The reason why they're saying that the cities in Ecuador are considered dangerous is because a lot of people here are starting to say that Ecuador is becoming a narco state. It's basically copy and paste of Mexico. So just think of what makes Mexico dangerous, and Ecuador is going through a similar process where there's a lot of consumption of drugs, the selling, the trafficking, and because of that, there's an increase in crime because obviously the drug lords, the people, the gangs who are selling the drugs, gangs who are fighting for spaces in specific cities in order to sell the drugs in that part of the city. And that's causing a lot of problems as well because while I know not all drugs are bad, I'm very aware of that, here it's still a problem where drug consumption is not regulated, so people are overdosing, and if they're not overdosing, they're buying drugs, and that's messing with their economic situation because once you get addicted to the drugs, you keep buying them, and then afterwards you don't leave money for what you have to do in life, like pay for rent, pay for bills, and take care of your family and yourself. So that just leads the person to go into poverty and eventually possibly become a criminal or just not be useful in society. That's, of course, an analysis. There could be more to it. The whole vacuna that I mentioned earlier, the vaccine, is also a problem, but they say that problem is also linked to the selling of drugs and the fact that Ecuador is becoming a narco state, a narco country. I hope it doesn't get to that level, but I don't know what's gonna happen. BPE, ask your dad, why is so much food in Ecuador fried? You asked me that once before, and I just think it's because of the simplicity of the dishes. A lot of the food is easily cooked when it's fried really quickly and served quickly, because even my dad, in his business, his food isn't fried. But whenever someone comes, one of the questions they'll ask is, how long is this going to take? Sometimes when my dad says it's going to take 5 to 6 to 10 minutes, the people don't want to wait. And they're like, oh, okay, thank you, and they just go. People want fast food. They want cheap food. And the person selling the food also wants the food to be cheap to make. And a lot of the fried food that people make here, it's cultural, but it's also very cheap. So it's convenient for them as well. All right, ending the poll. Okay, so 5K. We're gonna wait until we get 5K subscribers. That means I have a lot of work to do. I feel like in order for more people to want to be a part of this community, I have to make more videos. That's really the only way. If you know anyone who wants Ecuador content, please suggest my channel to them. Let them know that here we try to educate, we try to inform and be entertaining about it. And we have fun talking, having conversations. And I don't know, maybe they'll be inclined to join, to be a part of the community. And join, I mean, subscribe. So yeah, does anyone else have any questions? Anything else we want to talk about today before we end the stream? I have a feeling someone is going to be very angry when they see that the replay for this live stream is 3 hours, because I'm now noticing that it's 180 minutes, which is 3 hours. So someone is going to be very upset when they go back and they're like, I have to watch 3 hours. Oh boy. Patacones y papas frito are services. Patacones are really good. Daniel, good night. Have to head out. Go ahead, Daniel. Take care. Take it easy, man. I hope you have an excellent night. And once again, thank you for becoming a member and thank you for your support. Pure chocolate is actually really good for you. Is it? I know that there's chocolate that you can use to mix with your food. Not your food, with your drinks. Cocoa, cacao. And it's sugarless, but it has no flavor. It has no taste. So it's kind of just like giving if you put it in milk, it's just giving it color. If you put it in water, I've tried it before. It does not taste good. So I don't know how I feel about that. I have a lot of chocolate right now in the kitchen, but it's all for my chocolate video where I'm going to compare different chocolates and see which chocolate is the best, trying to see if Ecuadorian chocolate is the best of them all. I'm still, coordinating that idea, and I hope it comes out really good. All right, so I don't know if there are any other questions, everyone. If there are not, then I think we will end tonight's stream there. So, everyone, I appreciate you being here. Once again, you guys are the MVPs. Thank you for joining me here today. Look for 100% cacao powder and mix it with milk. I'll probably have to try that. Antioxidants, I like it. Yeah, that was what I investigated. That's why I started drinking chocolate cacao powder, but it just didn't have any taste. So I was like, I don't want to drink sugar, so I didn't want to add sugar to it, but it was like, hasta pronto, Mark. So yeah, guys, once again, thank you very much. Please take care. Please stay safe out there. I will keep you updated on anything that happens with this case, with this situation, with the Muerte Cruzada. Tomorrow is going to be, I think, a very big deciding moment of whether it's going to be very severe or not. I really hope it isn't, because I just don't want anyone to fear coming to the country or fear investing or think Ecuador is bad. Ecuador is not bad. It just has some things that obviously aren't good. Every country does. But remember, Ecuador has a lot of good things going for it, and you got to enjoy that. So I'll keep you updated. Once again, if you'd like to become a member, if you'd like to support me, completely optional, but I highly appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Thank you for being here. BPE, agree, hop in. I put in coffee. Aaron, have a cool night. Ace, you have a cool night, Aaron. I hope everything goes well for you, and I can't wait for you to come to Ecuador. Definitely waiting for those haircuts. Maybe you'll make it in time for when I get my 5K subscribers. Could you imagine me having 100,000 and having the plaque? Like, oh man, that's a dream. My scrunchie. So yeah, everyone who's here, or everyone, please take care. Let me see if I can see the list of people who have interacted. I think there's a way to check that out, participants. Aaron, BPE, Daniel, hop in. Mark Horning, Robert, everyone, I appreciate you being here and I appreciate your support. Of course, que tengas una buena noche. Ten una excelente noche, Robert. Excelente. Not just good, excelente. Also, there's a lot more comments, so I want to say bye to everyone. Free beer. I think 954 was also here. I just don't see their name. South American, thank you very much. Luis, buenas noches, or Luis. Blick Lingo, Robert Ashley. I feel like there's more. Just a lot of the comments, I can't go back to them now because it's far in the chat. Is business extortion common in Ecuador? Everywhere, man. Hop in everywhere. Here in Puerto Viejo, Quito, that's why Quito, they had a problem with that. But anyways, I'll leave it at that. Take care, everyone. Have an excellent night. And as always, ace out.